Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Dropped Frames. It's Sunday. That's Zeke. And that is my neighbor. Welcome to the show.
Do it again, Zeke.
It's Dropped Frames now. Drops Frames now.
It's a secret.
Man, that's okay. All right. You know, musical guest today. One GassyMexican. You might have heard the piped-in bass that he always has on his microphone.
Piped-in bass, sir.
Max, I've been in your studio. I've seen the bass machine that you have next to your mixer. It exists.
You said you'd never tell.
I know, but the secrets come out today. Okay?
It's a secret.
That's what it does when you turn it on. That's the little jingle that it's like a Samsung, like a dryer. You know, they got a little jingle when you hit the bass machine. Yep. That's how it happens. Hi, welcome. It's your weekly Drop Frame show. Co's on vacation or home, but about to stream. I don't. Who cares? Let's just continue on. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's traveling right now, but he's going to stream later. So who knows? Who fucking knows? But in his place, we got old GassyMex. He's been playing what came to be like maybe one of my favorite weeks of gaming all year long. Like it's just been a fucking all three big games I'm interested in. We got some Marvel Rivals. We got some Indiana Jones
Simulator. Oh, okay.
Which we got some Farming Simulator. We got both of you are knee deep in Indiana, right? You're just full. Yep. You're all up in there, and then a little PoE too, which we'll be talking about as well. But first, what do you guys know about AI images?
My God, like seriously, it's so fucking like surprising things have been happening for a while, and it's just like, did no one think before? Okay, let me just tell you why I'm behaving this way, because Twitch revealed that they're going to make a Christmas emote, cat in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it with, like, I looked at that image, and I'm not like an expert. I looked at it and went, that's fucking AI, right? And I confirmed it is almost 100% definitely an AI created image.
Yeah.
And this was a win. This was an easy fucking slam dunk win for Twitch to just like promote an artist from within, like grab any fucking artist from the fucking creative categories and say like, hey, we're picking you guys to make us an emote, and we'll have a thing. Maybe we never have a contest. Or they could have just picked one and said, make us an emote, and paid them, and it would be there.
Yeah.
Like any number of fucking things. Like you could have like oh my God.
It's pretty ridiculous. Now
it's just stupid is what it is. It's just outright stupid.
It honestly, at least to me, it comes across as supreme laziness. So for a while, Twitch actually had an emote artist that was staffed. And he was responsible for a ton of emotes on the platform. He also did like Kappa cards back in the day when those were a thing. At like TwitchCon, it was Gears art. He used to work at Twitch. He is still today. He's Lyrics emotes artist. It has been for a decade at this point. He's doing something else right now. He doesn't work at Twitch. I think he hasn't been there for a couple of years. But ultimately, this is probably them being like, "Hey guys, we need an emote," and then realizing, "Oh, we don't have any artist that can do this at our company." And we really don't want to have to go through the legal process of getting all this shit signed and all that. So let's just use an AI prompt and see what they come up with. And that is where we got Cat in the Chat.
Which even that, like, there's no excuse that covers using a fucking AI.
Yeah, well,
it's the simplest Photoshop job ever. You don't even need Photoshop to do this.
You just put a cat on. Just get Dan Clancy's fucking cat. I'm sure he has one. Put a little fucking hat on him. And there's your goddamn emote. No one would care.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It's and the other thing too, I see a lot of people like, why do you guys care so much? And it's because like it's the entire platform is creator first. Like that is what you do on this platform. You create. That's what is we are creating content on this very show, and to have like the lead social account use some AI bullshit is it's pretty frustrating. It's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
So
with that said, can we get some cat in the chat spam in the chat, please?
yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah. For some reason it only works for a handful of like it didn't work when you typed it, Max.
I think I typed it wrong. I typed it exactly as written, but that didn't work. I don't know.
Oh, if you type cats in my chat, it just shows like this really cute picture of cats. It's really weird.
Yeah, some people are. That's weird. It's not shown for some.
Yeah, I don't
it works
know.
really good too.
Yeah, it's a strange
Yeah,
thing.
see, it just said cat in the chat for me, and it's not. Whatever, man.
I don't know.
You have to earn it. Is it a holiday emote that you have to earn or some shit?
Oh, you have to unlock it by being in a merged chat.
Let's merge these.
It's literally on the screen right here, and we're just like, how does it work?
About that?
How do the emote work? No. Okay, so that's the next thing we can talk about, because that's actually kind of a divisive conversation, I would say. Is this idea that now when you do a shared chat experience, which is using Guest Star, it's not a rebrand, but it's Twitch. Like they didn't say Guest Star a single time in that social post, and that's probably on purpose, but that's exactly what a shared chat is utilizing that process, I believe. And it merges everything in the shared chat. And the other thing that it does is that it merges all of the view counts for all of those streams. So when you look at, I don't know, I can pull it up right now on Twitch. If you look at like Strippin's viewership right now, for example, he's streaming to 5,000 people according to the following list. But in actuality, he has about 1,100 people watching him because it's the combined viewership of the 3 other people plus him all combining together to play whatever it is that he's playing right now. So it kind of, pushes people up in the directory. And so some people are like, it's kind of, you can kind of draw the line. And on one side, it's like smaller streamers who are like, man, this is awesome because now we can actually compete with the big boys, right? We can have like 4-digit viewership, maybe even 5-digit viewership. And then you have the big boys who are just like, this fucking sucks. Now I got to compete with 5 who's and they're going to be doubling my viewership because it's 5 against 1. And it pushes me to the top of the directory. I don't like this, Twitch. I don't like this at all. So there's a little bit of a conversation around all that. I don't know where I fit on it. We've kind of done something similar with DF for years now, where Co is always, riding the line on 5-digit viewership, and then me and Zeke are much, much lower than that every week. Still respectable, still totally, within worth doing from a business point of view.
I think you guys are just swell.
Yeah, we're doing swell. But now there's the sense that we could potentially combine that and we would have, 14,000 people watching every week or 15,000 people watching every week.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty significant bump, in the directory. So I don't know. It's if anything, it like decreases the value of viewership, I guess. Like the viewership number, which has been kind of a weird thing for a while with when you factor in like embeds, which can definitely like, take over a directory if someone has a embedded stream and blah, blah, blah. And that's been kind of a major pushback over the past couple of years. But yeah, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on it. I'm a little bit conflicted. I don't know if it's good or bad. I think it's a new thing that people are going to have to feel out, and we'll kind of see where it lands. What do you guys think about it?
I think I don't like the shared chat aspect of it, in the sense that from what I've seen of others in like my group, like Late Shift trying to use it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have to imagine that there's some sort of like settings and nuances that you could change so it doesn't apply like other people's bots and rules and stuff, but I've seen that clash. That's my biggest issue with it, why I don't really care about it and don't care to try it, because from what I've seen, once those chats are merged, unless you've disabled certain things that your bot looks out for or whatever. Perfect example is Burke's bot was like, just starts slapping other people's stuff when they put things, because he tries to keep his chat a little more PG-13. And so that was happening. So once I heard that was happening at all, like the one time I tried it with them, I was like, screw this. I don't want to do that. Like imposing that sort of stuff where the different rule sets are clashing, and then if somebody, like if I were to time out somebody, or I could time out, say like a recurring command, or whatever on Burke's end or whoever's, and it will apply that way because it's merged the chats and I have the perms to do that. It's really weird. That's the one aspect of it. The directory stuff,
like viewership.
now, does it
stuff,
actually?
yeah.
Does it actually, like, if you're all streaming in X game, does it bump all of you up in that one game, or is it just like a side directory bump?
It shows all 4 streams at that exact viewership in the directory.
No.
Or all 5 streams, or however many. I mean, you can pull it up right now. And
I've only looked at it like, when I'm like my following list or whatever, I see that it bumps it up, from whoever else is streaming, right?
Yeah.
With that bigger impressive number, but I haven't looked at like an actual like game category to see if it bumps up in the.
Oh
the
wait,
game
no,
category.
I am incorrect about that. It actually.
Okay, there you go.
So in the directory, it shows the viewership of each individual streamer, but in the following list, it shows. I mean, I can just show you guys this.
So it is what I thought maybe is the case, because I haven't checked. Like I said, if it actually shows up in the game directory and bumps up all those streamers playing that game. I think it definitely bumps up in like the followed directory on the side.
Yeah. So
Which is still big for people when they're, they go to their Twitch page and they're landing of like who they're following and stuff.
Yeah, this is what it looks like. So this is my account here. Strippin, Tomato, Gmart, and Benji are all playing. So it shows in follower 6.7, but then in the directory itself,
Yeah.
even though it
their own
says sort
respective
by
numbers.
viewers high to low, for some reason it's not doing that. It's broken. Maybe the stream together thing is broken up, but yeah, it shows like Tomato is the lion's share of the viewership. Strippin's 1.6. Benji is 460, and then Gmart's 430. So yeah.
Now when you go to following though, does it still show them on the side? So it's just the side thing, really, like your initial.
Yes. Yeah.
I think anything else other than the normal like initial landing page on the side
right
or
here
whatever?
it says.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Okay, so it's still,
But
if you were just
it's actually broken. So
no.
look, in terms of, so this is viewers high to low, right? And the following list. And so it goes down, and then it hits Strippin, and it says 6.8 with this little icon in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's at like 1.4 or something in his actual viewership.
Yeah.
And for Tomato, it shows 6.7, but in his actual viewership, he's at like 4.5 or something. So it's fucking broken in that regard. Like, it doesn't work. It works, but it shows the wrong number. So yeah, it seems like they still haven't figured out exactly how they want to handle that, I suppose.
Yeah, not surprising if it's like a little broken and not working properly. I know it's something they're obviously trying.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with it is just the shared chat thing being kind of broken. I don't really care too much about the
viewership
category.
aspect?
Yeah, I mean, it would be, I would try it and use it if that wasn't so broken, the shared chat thing, just to see how it goes, or at the very least, if I were to do shared chat with somebody, I'd be like, all right, well, I guess let's make sure we don't do friendly warfare against each other in that way. But
yeah.
It's in my opinion, it's definitely like that friend you invite over and you ask if he's bringing his kids. It's like, we like the friend, but don't bring the kids. Okay, like that's my chat. It's like,
yeah,
Zeke's fine. He can behave himself but his chat is not as fine. They're a little rambunctious and unruly.
Yeah.
Don't let them come over to our chat.
Now, seeing that it doesn't affect the actual directory in terms of where it puts you, I think the viewership thing is whatever. Like, as long as Strippin's not going to advertisers and being like, yeah, man, I've got 7,000 viewers right now. That's my normal audience. Like then who cares? Like, if they don't do their research on that and take them at face value, I guess that's on the company. But apart from that, that's the only really thing I could see that people would use it nefariously. If a bunch of, let's say, 400 or 500 viewership folk did a group stream. I don't know what the maximum amount of people that can be in a group stream is. Do you happen to know, Max? You guys have done 4, right? On late shift?
Yeah, we've done 4. I don't know if it can go more than 4. I have to imagine yes. Maybe like 6, 4, 6 or something.
Yeah. So they would all pull together and then, go out for a sponsorship type deal. Which maybe if you go to the sponsor and say, hey, I can guarantee you 4,000 viewers across 6 channels.
That might be something. Yeah, I guess that's the one thing where maybe I would start to care is if like sponsors started to care, or that became like a new norm of like,
yeah,
okay, they start looking at your, individual concurrence and all that stuff, but then what's the group number? Like have these streamers stream together? What's the projected group number that total cumulative viewership that I can expect? So I mean, and that's something that totally like sponsors may take note of. Like if this is something that sticks, then yeah, I mean, shit. Well, in that case, I love it. I love it so much. I love sharing the chats. It's so good. Collaboration is what makes successful streams on this platform. I've said it before and I've said it again. Dan Clancy's got the right idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently it doesn't factor into your, Twitch stats when it comes to like average CCV and all that stuff.
Well, I've said it before. Collaboration, who needs it, right? Individual streamers is what makes the backbone.
That's right.
Of this site.
But here's the thing: you could still go to someone and be like, "Yeah, we get 6,000 viewers," and it's like, "Oh, where's the proof?" And then you just take a screenshot of you streaming with 6,000 viewers, and that's
And in that way, I've said collaboration is key.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's new waters, I would assume. It's now, I think that's attempt 3 or 4 to like make guest star happen. From Mr. Clancy.
One thing. It's like it fades away after a new release of it. Like, look, the new shared collab chat thing, guest star under another name, and then everyone's like, "Oh, okay, we tried a little bit," and then it's like fades away, and then it comes back under a new name. Like,
so. It's definitely a thing. It's not even called guest star anymore. It's streamed together. There's no guest. I think guest star is still branded in the back end, maybe. On some of those tools, but
but it's I mean, we're the wrong people to ask about this, I think, because we didn't come up with it. So like this is something we had already figured out how we like doing it before it became a Twitch integrated thing. It's like we know how we like doing this. We have workarounds that work for us. We use other programs, third party, blah 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 blah, and that's what I'm like. That's why we're not in it, or I'm not motivated to use it at all.
Yeah. That's always been
every time I've used it. It's especially from our perspective that you're talking about, Zeke. Like we have the established thing that works. We're familiar with it. It works well, right? So when you give us a new product to try to potentially be a replacement for that, if it doesn't work properly, in a lot of ways and has some bugs, which I'm not saying that it won't have bugs, any sort of new product that Twitch rolls out or anything that's new, right? It takes some time to kind of flush out the stuff. But to my mind, it still has those weird things that I don't like, which is like the weird rule sets that conflict in shared chats. There's even some feature stuff that I know when we tried it before, there's like an overlay thing where you can choose to have it or not. So it is an optional thing, but like you can have it so it says, like at the bottom here, we have Ezekiel, itmeJP, GassyMexican. That can be baked into the overlays if you wanted to in like a minimalized way. But even that didn't work properly. Like Burke had the one that looked nice and the text was like the right color and stuff, so it didn't clash or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I want that too. Let me see if I can customize it. I tried, it didn't work. I was like, okay. So there's this weird stuff that just ends up making the experience more aggravating than it is actually like a seamless collaboration thing. If they got it to a point where it did just work properly, and there's like a one tick box thing where it just says ignore chat rules or whatever, where we don't have that kind of crossfire happening, maybe there's a world where I'll start using it or at least try to be more open to it, right? But right now it's not that, and it's just frustrating and inferior to what we normally do.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I also think a lot of that, you were talking about like having the graphic and all that stuff. A lot of probably the feedback that they got for that doesn't care about that so much. Right? Like
it's just a side thing. You know what I mean? Like when you're already trying something, if you're given something else that also just doesn't work, it just leaves a even bad, like worse taste in your mouth. You know what I mean? For trying it. But
yeah. So that's that. I'm sure it will continue to be tested and changed and all that stuff over the next couple of months.
But again, if sponsors start looking at it and they really would like collaboration, it's a great product, and I'm happy to use it on Twitch here.
Come on back around.
All right.
Innovative, you know. Also, can we circle back to the way you said the word nefarious?
Me or Zeke?
Say the word nefarious.
Nefarious?
You said nefarious earlier.
Nefarious?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I was like, that was very highbrow of you. Nefarious.
Yeah, you can pronounce it that way.
No, I'm not saying it's just a little note.
Yeah, if you're from Sussex or whatever.
Well,
you thought we wouldn't notice. I noticed.
I've been faking for 14 years, you guys. I'm actually British. I'm not going to reveal my British accent here.
Whereabouts?
I'm from London. Yep.
Good choice. That's the one city you know, isn't it?
Yep.
How very nefarious of you.
Yep. Exactly.
Anyways, that was just a little side note.
No, Mr. Mexican, I expect you to die.
I expect you to die.
Exactly. I was scrolling through the rest of the news to see what was going on. Kind of a slower news week in the grand scheme of things. There's just a lot of games out. There's 3 big games, so maybe that's where we spend most of our time talking today. There was a report that came from Media Research that concluded that gamers typically spend 7.4 hours a week gaming and 8.5 hours a week watching game-related videos, which is kind of an interesting thing, that it's now more watching than playing. I would think most people watching right now are probably watching this because they can't play, or it's second monitor content for a lot of people as well. So that makes sense. Yeah. I really wonder where it says the research which Media claims highlights the untapped potential for a game publisher to bring video content inside their own ecosystems. Oh boy. Also claims that 24% of console/PC players and 48% of in-game buyers watch game-related content at least monthly, with the latter considered high-spending gamers. This means the revenue is left on the table, according to the report's authors, with game publishers, quote, ceding significant revenue opportunities, especially advertising, to third-party video platforms, even as the games market faces growth challenges. I don't like how they spun that information to be like, you guys should be streaming more content because Twitch and YouTube are making money off your games. That's kind of how I just heard that. That sucks. But
like most are saying too, that seems like even like a lower estimate or low tabulation of numbers.
Yeah.
Unless we all just live in our own little gamer, world, and those numbers seem lower than our average,
Yeah. So this was the ending statement from that, or one of the ending statements, which is kind of scary. It says, quote, it's time for game publishers to think about in-game video as something beyond marketing alone, says Reese Elliott, games analyst, Media Research. By reclaiming video engagement, publishers have the potential to unlock new revenue streams like advertising and drive growth. Please don't listen to this guy. please don't do that. We don't need any in-game ads. We don't want to see that shit. Leave it to let Twitch do that. Just let YouTube do that. Don't do that.
Was that in-game?
Well, I mean,
yeah.
It's been it's not as intrusive because in some Japanese games like the Like a Dragon Yakuza series, they have actual advertisements for Boss Coffee and all that other shit. And I'm not sure if I'm more I notice it less, or it's less intrusive because how they do it, or because we don't have those products here, so it doesn't seem like advertising.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think they kind of do it a little bit like tongue in cheek, so it doesn't seem as intrusive, but it might there.
Sure.
Where they kind of have fun with it. I think if I'm understanding what this analyst is saying, I think they're saying why don't we have, when and they kind of do this a lot with launchers, like a BattleNet launcher or a Fortnite launcher, anything like that. Steam does it, right? For when you go to a game on Steam, a lot of times you'll have a stream of the developers playing, or a content creator will autoplay. It's not live, but it is like a live streaming kind of looped video at the top. I think what the analyst is saying, what if you open the game, right? You open Indiana Jones, and next to play, there's a box, and it's someone playing Indiana Jones. Or it's someone playing another Bethesda game. Or it's someone playing an Xbox game. Or it's someone talking about Xbox Game Pass. Something like that. That would be a little bit bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
In general, whether you're talking about if it's advertising another like Bethesda stream or another Xbox Game Pass stream or something like that that's in their own ecosystem, I don't think really the content matters a bit, but it's the implementation. Like people are saying, in games like Cyberpunk or whatever, where ads fit and make sense, like you're saying, it's almost like a little tongue-in-cheek kind of thing where they're aware of it, but it makes sense. Like someone else said too, it's like if you were to play a medieval fantasy game and then all of a sudden, like, have you heard about the new McCafe deal happening at McDonald's? Like nobody would, and it's AI voiced.
Yeah.
Happening right now. Start your day the right way. Hello, traveler. How are you? Like he comes out of a fucking trance.
Now hold on. What if instead
you get a deal, like you're making a deal with the market, like the fucking item shop guy, and he's like, "Oh, thank you for your gold, but I'm loving it."
What if
little sneaky shit?
What if instead of like a video player, like the sneaky little ads you guys are talking about, what if you booted up like a Valorant, right? Something with like a battle pass, maybe a Marvel Rivals. And in that, somehow Twitch works with the game people, and it's like, hey, check out who's streaming this game right now on Twitch. And there's like an actual little box to where you can scroll the directory of Marvel Rivals. Would that be? How do you guys feel about that?
Is it advertising my channel?
I mean, if you're streaming Marvel Rivals, yeah, it's the whole directory.
Well, then I've always said that that's a good job. Like I think, well done.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Twitch trying to pitch that for sure. But
if I'm in it, then yes, that's a great idea. If it's not me, then no, terrible. Bad.
Yeah,
if it benefits me, I love it. If it does not, it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it comes down to like that's basically just an embed. And then you get the whole like, well, who's top embed? They're gonna have all the viewers, and then also like the game companies don't want people to be removed from their ecosystem and go into another ecosystem to spin. So that would probably never happen. At least that's the hurdles that I think Twitch would face if they tried to pitch that. Yeah.
If they did do it, I would see it. And that's happened before in some games. I can't remember which ones, but I've seen a game that do that sort of thing where it does highlight some streams that are on right now for whatever X game category.
Yeah.
If it was like, I think it would probably be more palatable for maybe a lot of people if it was like a limited time thing or whatever. Sorry for burping. Maybe, but I don't know, because we're coming from a skewed perspective of like, this is our job, this is our ecosystem, our world, right? So it's a little more normal for us to expect this sort of thing. But if you're just like your average gamer who's just like, you may not give a shit at all about these things, and this is just taking up screen space, and you're like, get this shit out of here. It's just categorized in the mind as like noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And detracting and distracting from what you'd like to try to do and figure out. Like if you're trying to look for a specific thing in Marvel Rivals or whatever in the battle pass, and then you have this shit pop up, like I could see that being annoying as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about streamers. There's so many people that don't care about streamers.
Well, it sounds like to me like anytime I accidentally go to like IGN to look up a tip for a game that I'm playing, and it's just like, here's your tip, the thing that you're trying to look at, and there's this box here that follows you, and there's this other box here that follows you as you're trying to like scroll through, like get the fuck out of here. I just like, unless of course one of those boxes has my face in it, like Max was saying, and if it does have my, then absolutely just plaster it. Right.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Probably nothing. Hopefully that no one reads that. Hopefully that like analyst report goes across someone's desk right as they're leaving for Christmas vacation, and it quickly gets forgotten about or something over the holidays. We'll I guess we'll see what happens with that. Scanning the rest of the news, not too much. I think we can just there was the Winter Games Expo that happened this past week. Bruce was actually one of the hosts. Bruce Green, who's been on the show before, was actually one of the hosts.
I don't like him.
That was the OTK. It's funny that it's called the Winter Games Expo, but OTK is completely left out of that branding. I don't know why, but yeah, it's.
How'd Bruce do? He's a good host.
He seemed fine. It was yeah. Oh no, it is. So in the title of this video, it says announced at the OTK Winter Games Expo, but in the actual search, it says Winter Games Expo. Weird. Bruce was fine. It was him, CassimG, Avali, and Will from OTK, who's super charismatic. So it was fine. I much prefer that, and I think it's a much better. That's much better than having like the OTK people who clearly don't want to be there.
I think maybe they got some of that feedback and were like, maybe we should hire some more experienced hosts. You know, just because you're like a personality and brand that works sometimes. You know what I mean? Within your like group, but not always, right? You balance the sticker appeal of like, look, we've got your favorite streamer from OTK hosting, but does that streamer want to be there doing that job, or are they fulfilling an obligation, or do they want to do it but maybe they're not, a little rough around the edges? You know what I mean? Z can speak to hosting. He's done it a whole bunch. There's a song and dance to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, speaking as someone who does streaming and has done hosting in the past, it's a completely, I mean, not completely, but it is a different skill set that you have.
A little more
add.
nuanced.
Yeah. When I stream on my own channel, all of my prickly edges are out, but when I do like it's kind of hard to watch a little bit, to be honest with you, me doing like hosting gigs, because all of my edges are like kind of dulled down. I say gosh and darn, instead of like fuck and shit, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's the job. But you have to like adapt to that part of it, and some people don't have that, like the ability to turn certain things off and turn certain things on when it comes to like the difference between streaming and hosting. Because you could be the best streamer in the world and your hosting might suck because it's not the same thing.
Yeah. I think a lot of that was the reason they brought OTK hired Avali to kind of, I think, spearhead that whole initiative. And they also Will joined, who's also a very good host. So it makes sense for them to be doing that. And I think the show is definitely a better for it. So we'll see what happens, I guess, in June for their next game show. I didn't watch the show, by the way, but it was apparently like 4 hours of indies. Yeah, apparently it was like 4 hours of indie stuff. So
that was the other thing, is like the last time
I missed it. Shit.
It's really long to show. I mean, that sounds shorter than the previous one. Wasn't like the one before like even longer? It was
probably
really long.
Yeah. I think it was. So it's I look at those as kind of a, hey, we're not going to be at the Game Awards, but we'd like to have someone talk about our game type deal. Which is not that's not a slight towards the OTK Winter Expo. That's how I look at it. So, yeah.
I'm gonna check out some highlights from it. I mean, any of that stuff is nice, for me to have more gaming news, and if there's more competition and other stuff in there, and they're trying to improve their product and what they're doing or their show, which it sounds like they are, and they're hiring people like Bruce and all them, like, seems they're taking feedback at the very least, and not just steaming ahead with like the really long, like 4 to 5 hours or whatever they did last year or the year before. That was my biggest thing. It was like, there's no way I'm watching all of this. This is crazy.
Yeah. Chat was saying it was actually a 2-hour show, but then they had a post show, so it was somewhere around 3 or 4 hours. So it seems like they kept a
that's
tighter schedule.
Yeah, that's not that bad. That's probably about where you want to be on the longer end of like a games showcase or whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to know if anybody watched both this, because I watched the PC Gamer 25 games that they're looking forward to, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but like, I wonder how much overlap there was.
I forgot how they categorized it. Basically, like, hey, here's some games that we're excited about for the next X amount of whatever. Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah, most wanted. That's what it's called. 25 most wanted.
Yeah.
There's a couple. Yeah, I'd be curious if there was any overlap for that. I actually watched the whole thing, and it was a good show. But like, yeah, I have it pulled up now, and I'm gonna, after the show today, since I take the rest of the day off, maybe I'll just put that on my second screen.
There you go.
While I'm playing another game or something, because that's what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah, for those curious, Civ 7 was the most wanted. Makes a lot of sense when you consider with the lens of PC gaming. That's probably the most wanted PC game. I think GTA is probably the most wanted game for next year, but Civ 7 makes a lot of sense.
You think it's going to come out next year?
GTA? Yes, I would think so.
You think it'll hit it?
I think they'll do it. Yeah, I think that'll happen. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. That just means more space for everything else. Because if it does come out, there's about a 3-week period on either side of that release where no one will want to fucking touch it. Because it's going to dominate everything. And whatever else comes out around there is not going to do that well because they're all going to be playing the GTAs. Going along in the news a little bit more. I think that's kind of it, Zeke. Oh, there was streamer awards. We can talk about that.
The streamer awards. I wanted to see if anybody caught the streamer awards.
I watched it. Yeah, it was second most of your content. Who won? iShowSpeed was streamer of the year. The streamer of the year, which is only voted on by people that were there in person, was NMP LOL. I would consider that to be like the most prestigious award there, to be honest. Because streamer of the year is like fan voted, right? So it's just a numbers game at the end of the day of who can get their fan base to go and vote for them. But streamer of the year is voted on by the people in attendance. And I feel like that carries a little bit more weight. It's kind of like the Screen Actors Guild, right? Where it's only actors that vote on that, who had the best performance. So,
sorry, I just smacked the crap out of my mic.
No, you're fine. So I thought it was good. I thought NMP deserved that. And I thought it was fantastic. They had some live music performances. Iron Mouse performed live.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw like a Twitter highlight or something of that.
Yeah, Iron Mouse performed live. Bella Porch performed live, and then I forget who the third was. It was a dude. I forget his name though. Shroud got the Legacy Award for the year. That's the same award that Maximilian Dude won last year. And then there was a bunch of other awards that were given out, but they're all, at the end of the day, they're all fan voted. So it's once again like who can get the biggest amount of your fans to vote, which means something, but maybe means less to others. Yeah. It's up to you to decide how that goes.
It's a rotating dais of similar names every year with two alternates. It's like these three will always be up there for these awards, and then two alternates that have made an impact recently, and that's kind of what it is. And I think there's a place for these awards, but it's not something that like appeals to me personally. That's why people say like the Game Awards is 10% fan vote, and then 90% like journos, content creators, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, critics.
Yeah. The reason why I like that better is because if it wasn't that, it'd be the Streamer Award. So like, yeah, that's why I think there's a place for that. But I also like when people who their whole life is concentrated on this topic, whatever it is, games, movies, art, music, blah, 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 when they come together and say, this is the best in our opinion, like that's the ones I like.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think the show is targeted towards like a specific type of stream. It's definitely like more mainstream, where I would say we're more niche on the platform for example's sake. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I thought like production wise, the show was fine. It obviously still had its bumps, but it was definitely like a tighter show than it was last year. There was no in-house audience. It was a closed room. And so that was kind of strange. Like people's jokes, you didn't have like a laugh behind it. So even if it actually was funny, it just kind of fell flat a lot of the times. That's always a little bit awkward. But for the most part,
I heard you could clearly hear like the people who were actually the streamers and content creators that were in the audience, like that were actually there.
Yeah.
You could
Did you
hear
hear
their
them?
comments from like the audience.
Yeah, every once in a while it would come across on the mic. Yeah. But yeah, overall fun show. The red carpet I think is maybe a little bit more fun than the actual show itself, because people are going on there and goofing around and showing off
It's
their
content.
outfits, and it's
It makes
content.
content, right?
Yeah.
I think it's more of just a content kind of, hey, let's do this because it's fun and we can make some fun content out of it. It's a reason for us to do X thing and make a to do about it, which is fine. Whatever.
Yeah, a fun night for sure. And the VOD, I think even Cutie Cinderella is doing VOD replays of it live. Yeah, she is. There's a rerun right now of the Streamer Awards. If that's something you want to watch on Cutie Cinderella's. What are they? It's it's Sketch, who was dressed up as Austin Powers for some reason, doing the crowd work while they set up for the musical act, which was not great, especially for sponsors' sake, because he kept asking people how much money they made this year and if they know where the Coke is at, and fun questions like that. He was definitely he was definitely a little drunk, to say the least. So yeah, it was kind of funny to see that if you're into that type of content. Yeah. So that's the thing. But apart from all that news, I think we could just talk about the games that came out, because there's 3 big ones. I guess this is newsworthy. Fortnite announced a 5v5 shooter.
Ballistics, Fortnite Ballistics, right?
Yeah, that launches I think tomorrow.
In a couple days, I think the 11th.
Okay, the 11th is when that launches. So that's gonna probably take over the internet, just because of the size of Fortnite's install base. If I was, Valorant or I guess any 5v5 shooter, I'd be a little bit worried about that player base, because they're definitely gonna go check out whatever Fortnite's got, especially if you can use Darth Vader in this 5v5.
That's right. I don't know. Yeah, they showed,
I don't know
obviously
how it's gonna work.
It makes sense. They used the John Wick skin or whatever, for the little teaser promo that they had. It was 4 seconds or whatever that I saw on Twitter.
What'd you say the name of it was, Max?
Ballistics, Fortnite Ballistics, I believe.
Okay.
Ballistic or Ballistics, something like that.
Gotcha.
That's the thing, is I don't know if you're able to bring in all of your skins. Somebody asked in the Twitter thread or whatever with their announcement, can they use their gun wraps that they already have, and they're like, yeah, you already know you can, you're good. So I have to imagine that you'll be able to use it all, if not a lot of your Fortnite things. I don't know if you'll be able to use all of them, just depending on how they have the rule set and whatnot for it, because some of the skins are obviously a lot more outlandish than others, and maybe they would work and maybe they won't. So kind of like how in the Lego thing, they allowed you to use some of them that worked and some didn't or whatever. So it's interesting, Yeah. I'll probably give it a look just to see. The one thing that I would say, even if I'm not a Fortnite main type of creator, I don't play it a whole lot, they keep things interesting and they're always updating the game. So if you're a fan of Fortnite and you're always looking for the next update, knowing that it keeps coming, you got to be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're in that Fortnite ecosystem, that's awesome, right? They've got,
if it plays well and it's fun,
this
is a great way for them to bring in even more people, to check out Fortnite.
Exactly. We'll see if there's any good ideas. It does kind of look just like Valorant or CS in terms of the rule set. But yeah, it launches in early access December 11th. This was the only video footage they showed, which was
it's literally 4 seconds.
Yeah, and it just replays, and it's very, very trendy video in your face. Let's go ballistic. Yeah.
I still hope you can floss and do all sorts of stuff after you've killed somebody.
I hope if you kill someone, you can floss on their body. If you can do that, this game's a winner. This game will go far. If you can't,
they would remove that. That's one of the biggest memeable things in the game, is the movements and the dances and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they would remove it. I think it's more likely that they'll maybe just lessen the certain, they'll have certain aspects of it, but not completely cut it out.
Yeah.
Just depending on how serious they're trying to, make the actual gameplay version of it, the the modes. I would think if there's like a skin or something that doesn't fit it because it's too outlandish or weird or like clips or something like that, they might get rid of that skin or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's Fortnite, so it would be stupid of them to not capitalize on, allowing players to use the stuff they've bought.
Having not been in the Fortnite world for quite some time, reading this statement, which says, all saved presets from your locker will carry over into Ballistic, which supports existing Fortnite outfits, back blings, kicks, wraps,
Hell yeah.
sprays, and emotes.
What's up?
But pickaxes, contrails, instruments, vehicles, and jam tracks are not used supported. They monetize the shit out. Good for them. Good for them. That's so much stuff. That's so much stuff to buy. It's just printing money at that point. That's so many different things to buy. Riot's probably looking at that and like, wait, they'll buy stuff other than just an expensive knife? Holy shit. We've got to sell. I think didn't Riot sell gloves? Or maybe CS sold gloves or sells gloves in their world now. Fortnite's ahead of the game. They got all the types of hats. They've got everything. This also jogged my memory. Seeing another 5v5 shooter launch typically means another 5v5 shooter has died. And that's right. Ubisoft has shut down X-Defiant.
No.
That one's gone. Yeah. Or
I loved that game.
Yeah, let's see exactly. So Ubisoft is shutting down X-Defiant in 2025, laying off half of its team. 2 studios will be closing. This is from Polygon's reporting this, at least where I'm reading it from. This was announced on Tuesday. The servers will remain until June 3rd, 2025. The game will no longer be offered for download and player registration will be closed. Despite the sunsetting, X-Defiant players will get access to its 3rd season content sometime in the near future. Nearly 300 people, 143 in San Francisco office and 134 across Ubisoft Osaka and Sydney locations will be laid off. The other half of the X-Defiant production studio will move on to other roles at Ubisoft, according to their chief studios and portfolio officer, Marie-Sophie de Walbert. That's okay. That's an interesting name. The big quote was, quote, despite an encouraging start, the team's passionate work and a committed fan base, we've not been able to attract and retain enough players in the long run to compete at the level we aim for in the very demanding free-to-play FPS market. As a result, the game is too far away from reaching the results required to enable further significant investment, and we are announcing that it will be sunset. Shocking no one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sad for those that, you never like hearing more industry losses and people losing their jobs and all that stuff. That sucks for them. But again, like, I've never played the game. I forgot it even existed.
Same.
So
the only time I ever remember seeing it was when they did sponsored streams on Twitch for like 2 or 3 days. And that was the only time I think it ever got viewers. I don't know anyone who played it apart from that sponsor 2-day period. So yeah, Ubisoft's had a rough go this year. It's not been going well for them. We'll see what happens with Assassin's Creed, I suppose, in February when that launches. Moonlighter 2 was announced. Zeke, you played Moonlighter 1, right? That was a thing.
No, that's a weird thing that's people said it's a game that I would enjoy, and I had never heard of it.
Okay. Yeah, it was announced. Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault. That's coming out. Did you guys see this? It's not even newsworthy. It's just, it's something that pisses me off, so I guess I'm going to bring it up. Did you guys see this Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 writer on Twitter doing a comparison of
Yes.
Man, what a fucking piece of shit.
What is this?
Well, the thing is, it's okay. I can see like how you would have to be a complete moron to not see like what you were doing. Okay, can you put the tweet up?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's taken me a while.
So wasn't the basic gist of it like Kingdom Come Deliverance, and he compared his game currently to what Dragon Age Veilguard is doing currently,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kingdom Come is from 2018. Is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah, it launched February 13th, 2018. Yeah.
There you go. And he was like,
This was the tweet.
there you go.
It sucks that I don't really want to give the guy too much attention because I do think the tweet is like just stupid.
Well,
the context
that's
is
my point.
Yeah, go ahead.
My point is, like, yes, he could have been just going like, compared to this new game that people are playing right now, my game is doing great, and I'm happy about that. Like, but you'd have to be an utter fucking moron to not realize like what it actually looks like to most people.
Yeah.
If that was the case, if he wasn't going like that, you know, if he wasn't doing that, it sure as hell fucking seemed like he was doing that.
Yeah. Well, and it also, I mean, the context here is they put Kingdom Come Deliverance on sale for like $5.
And there you go. Yeah.
So that's why it has the players, I would think. But yeah, and then like his follow-up tweet was like, happy to say I didn't expect such a meltdown just because I was happy they were doing surprisingly well after all those years. Chill, everyone.
Chill, everyone. I don't know why is everybody getting all
I just like you click on his profile and you're like, oh, okay. I get it.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
That's what you would expect.
Yeah, just not a good look. Not a good look.
What the fuck are they laughing at? I like guns too.
Yeah, so do I. They're great. So that's I think that's maybe I don't think I saw any other dumb takes on Twitter this past week. So we could stop with that and let's talk about games. I actually really want to hear about Indiana Jones because you guys have both played it. I've heard nothing but good things about this. I've heard a bunch of people talk about how it's like their game of the year. Like people are kind of going nuts over this. And so I want to know why. Max just walked away, right? As I was going to throw it to
I know.
him,
I was gonna be like, oh, he's getting his whip.
He's getting
of
his
course.
whip. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'll give you the whip crack sound. Here we go.
Nice.
I thought that would add a little something to the show. You know,
I like it. I like it. No, that the prop works. The prop
My
plays.
indie hat is right there too.
Nice. Fantastic.
not gonna
So
wear it.
yeah, how is it? What?
Why is your whip black? His is brown leather.
Oh wait.
Oh,
Is it? It kind of looks black now.
That looks black. Yeah.
did you grab the wrong whip? Does Beth know you have that?
It's just the whip that I have, okay? Babe, where's the real whip? Which one is this? No, this one doesn't say indie. Oh. Okay, so this is a different whip.
It all makes sense.
Okay.
Those weird noises I hear in the middle of the night. Anyway.
No, listen. Trust me. Like I've grabbed the wrong whip several times, and I know which ones I can touch and which ones I can't now.
I now know why Ollie is woken up every night in the middle of the night barking.
When I grabbed it, I
Max-
did think it was strange. It had like a little mask next to it as well that looked, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a little different.
It's kind of weird. You must hide that stuff
Max,
every time I come over. That's why. Okay, go ahead. Zeke.
No, I'm just like I want to hear your thoughts, Max, please,
Huh?
about Indiana Jones.
I like it. It's a good game. Back to you, Zeke.
Okay.
Great.
Well,
No, it's great. It's really
Great.
cool. To elaborate more on that sentiment, I was hoping that it would be really good, and it is. It seems like a very faithful, great interpretation of the Indiana Jones franchise. And I'm not like a super mega fan of Indiana Jones. I've always loved it and grown up with it. Some iterations of Indiana Jones have been better than others. But as far as like a video game adaptation, I didn't know that there were so many other video game adaptations prior. There's a lot of Indiana Jones games. If you look in like the game category, that surprised me.
And like the SNES days and the adventure game days, yeah, there was a ton. There was a ton of Indiana
oh,
Jones games.
do not do the SNES game or the I think it was just NES, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Whatever
there's
one
a
that
bunch.
was.
There's a bunch.
It was the Temple of Doom one, and it was fucking terrible. I played it as a kid. I was like, oh, Indiana Jones in a video game. And I tried to fire it. I was like, oh my God, this thing sucks ass.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah. So what, I mean,
No.
talk to me about the game. Cause I've heard some complaints from people saying like, oh, the combat sucks in this game. And then people's response are like, the game's not about combat. You're not like, I played for 8 hours and I killed 10 people total. That's it.
I think the one that I keep seeing is people are like, is the AI as janky as I hear that it is? Like, the AI is like any other game of this genre. You know, maybe there's some other ones that are more sophisticated, but if you're doing a game from first person, kind of in a Bethesda style, you know, and you're going around like that, the AI being kind of stupid and ignorant in a stealth game is fine. It's totally fine. You know, like a stealth puzzle game that focuses on mystery and solving like puzzles and connecting dots and stuff. And Indiana Jones, like I wouldn't expect, you know, the AI to be 100%. I mean, I don't want the AI to be like super punishing.
You would call this a stealth game then?
It does, yeah. It's a lot of stealth to it.
Okay.
Not like so much so to the point where it's like really frustrating and it restarts you every single time. There are certain areas where obviously you're not allowed, right? And it might have increased security or whatever, and you might end up, if you go loud, you know, you might get knocked out and then you respawn back to a couple checkpoints or a checkpoint ago. That said, you can speak to this too, Zeke. I've found the checkpoint system to be great. Like it saves all the time. Like I've never once died, you know, and then had an issue where like, oh, I've gone back 20 minutes. It's like, no, that was like 2 minutes ago, you know, which is great. But
there's been a couple of annoying spots where it's like, oh, I went back that far, damn. But if you are paying attention, you can sort of game the system in that like, okay, when I open this particular door, it doesn't autosave. So like if there's a part that's like annoying you or whatever, you like, okay, I'm gonna go and open this door, close the door, whatever, so I can get that little hat symbol so telling me that's autosave, so I know how much time I would lose. But yeah, it's not been too bad. But also, I'm not in this game for the combat personally. Like, I love the sounds. You know, it has all the old like, you know, the old Indiana Jones punch sounds and stuff like that. But I'm playing it on easy mode. Like I'm playing it on the easiest difficulty as far as combat goes. Yeah. And I left the puzzle aspect, which I love when games do this. So please, puzzle games, whatever developers, please keep doing separate difficulty sliders for, you know, combat and puzzles, because that's how I wanted to enjoy this game. And I am enjoying it by like, I do sort of stealth, but I only do stealth to see like what Indiana Jones does with, because you can pick up like almost anything. You can pick up like all kinds of shit to use as weapons, like plungers, dustbin or dustpans, brooms, sledgehammers, regular hammers, like flutes.
Crutch. I was about to say crotch. I grabbed a crotch and beat the shit out of somebody with.
Well, that's what Indiana Jones is famous for. So grabbing crotches of Nazis.
Funny you say that, because one of the attacks that if you sneak up on from behind, you get a knockout. Like you don't have to like punch them or anything. Yeah. So one of them is you take a hammer and you swing it under their legs, between their legs, and then you smash them on the face after that. It's like that. When that one happened, I was like, oh, ah.
Nice.
Yeah, some of these would definitely be like a brutal, just like Indy killed a guy there, but he's not Batman. You know, he'll kill people. It's on the table. He doesn't necessarily want to, but
I had to think about that. Like, is Indy a Batman hero where it's like, I don't kill people? Like, no,
he doesn't care.
Like he like pushed people on the prop plane or like the propellers of planes. And shit.
Yeah, he's he'll try not to kill somebody, but
that's it.
Exactly. He's got to survive.
Yeah. He's survived, which is I think what you want from an action hero.
You know what's funny? Last night this happened. I'm assuming you have it. I think you're a little bit ahead of me, Zeke. But the one of the perks is. By the way, I'll speak to this. I like the way they did the perk thing. You go and discover like little books in the world. Yeah. And that gives you the option to have that perk. So you discover it. And then there's like a whole kind of, if you look in the top right of the HUD there, that star there, it's like exploration currency. You get it as like
Sierra points, dude.
Yeah, it's great. And then you redeem those points to apply to whatever perk. Back to what I was saying. One of the perks is you can, if you go down, you get basically like a last ditch effort kind of thing where you can spawn back up. If you look around while you're on the ground in like the grayscale sort of thing, and you find Indy's hat, so you grab Indy's hat, and then he gets back up and goes like, huh. puts his hat back on. That happened in this kind of area where he's at. He's in like a heavily guarded area where there's lots of
That's great.
At least on mine, on hard or whatever, there's lots of guards and stuff, and they whipped my ass. And then I looked around, I'm like, what the hell's happening? Oh wait, I can get his hat. I grabbed Indy's hat, and they're meanwhile just going, well, we took care of that. And then they start walking off like, and I get up, it goes to this cutscene of Indy putting his hat back on, like, oh. And then I'm just standing next to them as they're walking away. So I'm like, I pull out the strap.
De-aggro.
Yeah. That's awesome. It seems like maybe that's a question I have is how much of machine head, what I forget the Wolfenstein devs, how much of their humor like shines through in this? Is it pretty prevalent? Is it all over the place, or is it reined back in because Indiana Jones is, a different IP and not Wolfenstein? How much can you find their DNA across this?
In my experience, there's not a ton of jokes or humor or little asides or winks to the audience. There's not a lot of that. Okay. Honestly, it's a pretty like faithful telling of an Indiana Jones kind of adventure. There's not a lot of like tongue-in-cheek shenanigans in this, which, I mean, I wouldn't mind a little bit, but I don't miss it that it's not there.
Yeah. Okay. Max, pretty much agreed.
Yeah. It's not like beating you over the head with a bunch of, like you said, weakening at the camera and stuff. It seems the humor that is there makes sense, in the tongue-in-cheekness that is there in the writing and what's happening in the game is appropriate for what you would expect out of an Indiana Jones story.
Yeah, so it's pretty faithful.
Nothing more than that. Yeah.
To the Indiana Jones IP. Okay.
What I've played anyways,
That's the one thing I really enjoyed about this is that it never, like, while I was playing, there's video game stuff that's going to happen that wouldn't happen in the movies. Like this, what you're looking at right now was a half an hour of me trying to figure out where the next clue for this bookshelf fucking puzzle is,
which is kind of awesome. I'm glad we stumbled upon this point.
It ended up being the stupidest thing.
Well,
I'm not spoiling it because it was a stupid thing that I should have known. But like when you get any item, you can examine it.
Sure.
Yeah, look at it.
Do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
And I didn't do that once, and it fucked me up for half an hour because I was like, where the fuck is this other fucking clue?
Yeah. Now, so there's no, if you have the puzzle, then turn up all the way in difficulty Z, right?
There's only 2 difficulties of puzzles. It's moderate or easy.
So if you put it to easy, does Indiana Jones go like, oh, I should really check the back of that thing?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah.
But maybe.
A moderate puzzler like him wouldn't know,
I get it.
I wouldn't sully my puzzling skills.
Look, I get it.
Putting it on easy.
Yeah, I know a puzzler or two, and they would do the same thing. Well,
Yeah. Yeah. Brute force is here to foil your plans, puzzler. We have a thing.
Yes.
Anyways, or I want to make it a thing, and he's okay.
He's resisting.
Max is part of the thing, to be honest. The whole trio is here. Yeah.
I might know a logician. Yeah.
He's the logician.
Yeah. Puzzler, the logician, and brute force.
Yeah.
Getting back to like it feels like an Indiana Jones game. It feels very faithful. There are video game moments, like I was saying, like the puzzle that stopped me for half an hour, and I'm wandering around the fucking Vatican in the priest outfit, like, where the fuck? And the guards are like, Father, Padre. I'm like, where the fuck do I go?
Which is interesting because I think maybe it's your difficulty level for the actual like hardness of the game, not the puzzle difficulty. But when I'm in here running around, they are on my ass. They are like, you don't belong here. We're gonna beat that ass, Indy. And I do have the Padre, the get up and everything. So it's not like because I'm in a different disguise. That's the other thing too, is like you can go into different disguises, which is neat.
Kind of Hitman-esque.
Yeah, a little bit. It also has a little bit of like a almost
There's
like
the
a
moment.
Oh, there it is. Look at his face.
Yep.
The sigh of defeat. I could hear it. And I could feel it.
Yeah. Half an hour of just like, where the fuck? And then it was just like, Oh my God.
Yeah, examine that item, and then all of a sudden it just
Yep,
sits in.
just examine the item.
I really like. I like the. We'll talk about it in a bit, but it's just a very good looking game.
Oh yeah, graphically, dude, it's fantastic.
Okay, well,
Super
yes,
good.
let's get to that.
Get into
But to your point, Max, as far as the difficulty goes, maybe upping the enemy difficulty makes them notice you, because in the Padre outfit, I'm not allowed any place that's fenced off. Like, they will notice me if it's fenced off.
Well, I just noticed
But
you have an outfit that looks like one of them.
Oh yeah, I got that. That was for a different mission. That was for
that answers why they're ignoring you then.
Yes. In order, there's a side quest where there's a boxing ring, underground boxing like thing between soldiers, and you have to get like a soldier outfit to go and compete in the boxing thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you have to find that outfit, and it's, and one thing I will tell you, if you're going to play this game, and you haven't yet, you'll get side quests sometimes, but they don't tell you it's locked behind story missions. So if you find yourself struggling to, like, oh, there's a side mission I want to complete and I don't know how to get over this wall through this door, blah, 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 go back to the story, do a little bit of that. Sometimes that'll unlock this, but they don't tell you that.
Progressing. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know too.
So
I didn't realize.
Wish they would have told me.
Yeah.
Because I spent 45 minutes trying to get to that goddamn boxing ring, and I was like, fuck it, just tell me. Someone just told me, they're like, you have to do the story mission. I was like, God damn it. All right.
Yeah. It is, but some of the most, we were talking about humor before with it, but like some of the most funny stuff is just the circumstantial things of like, you're in like a Padre outfit, and then someone goes like, Padre, and you're like, hey, how's it going? And then,
DiGiorno.
And then you're like, you look away from him and you go, whip up to something and just start climbing. And they're like,
yeah.
That makes sense. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I did that. There was this one dude that's always having his lunch. He's just sitting on like this like scaffolding, and he's like, I don't know if he's actually eating lunch, but he looks like he's sitting there like taking his Union 15 break. And he's just sitting there either smoking or eating a sandwich or something. And I had to go past that guy several times, and it's like 3 feet from him. He's like, DiGiorno, Padre. I'm like, hello. Right next to him. I'm like, don't worry about this. This is just exercise. I want to get closer to God. All good.
Yeah,
I did it like half a dozen times, like right next to this guy.
Yeah. Or you're in like a tomb or something underground, and they're looking for you. They know you're there somewhere. And there's areas where you're just whip cracking and swinging across, making the most noise, and they're just like, where is he?
Yeah.
That's classic.
Yeah, no, I've had dudes look directly at me and then stop trying to find me. So there is a little video game jank.
I mean,
but for the most
that's
part,
what you want, right? Like that's
I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. There is some clipping through walls that happens. Stuff like that. Like they have in a lot of like stealthy games, they have the body hiding mechanic, and you can actually like if you throw a body like over a thing, it like falls through the environment, so like they'll never find it because you've thrown them over a balcony and that has no collision on the bottom because you can't go. There's a death plane or something. So if you throw bodies over there, they'll never find them.
Right.
Yeah. There's little stuff like that. But as far as like, does it feel like Indiana Jones like the whole way through? And the answer is absolutely yes. And part of that, and we've been wanting to get to this, part of that is because, and I want to hear your opinion on it too. Troy Baker does a fantastic job as Indy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was going to say from a voice acting standpoint, like really, really good. There's certain bits here and there where you're like, okay, but even then it's still really good especially for like a young indie. He does a great job, like really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where it makes it feel, if they didn't have that nailed, it definitely would not feel as immersive and like as faithful as it does feel. And I love the fact too that we're playing it from first person. I've thought about that too. Like if they did make it like a third person game, I think the difference there would be that you'd feel like you were controlling Indy as opposed to being him. You know what I mean? So your first person makes you feel a lot more like immersed in the world. You are Indiana Jones. Go, as opposed to like all right, I'm just controlling Indiana Jones and going around and whip cracking shit and all that stuff. It feels a lot better as a first person game. I'm glad they went that route.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people call it an immersive sim as well. Not to get into like the nomenclature of video games and all that stuff, but a lot of people are calling it as such, and I think the first person aspect is because of that. There was also, when the game was first announced, everyone was like, I don't know about this being first person, but it sounds like it was the right choice. What you guys are saying.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
yeah.
If it was third person, it would definitely lose a lot. I
Nice.
think they made the right call.
Nice.
Yeah, it does. I will say it does make the and I think it should. The whip crack whip swinging that you do.
Mhm.
It's not graceful, but I at first I was like, it feels heavy and a little clunky. And then after doing it a few times, I'm like, maybe it should though, because he's not the Prince of Persia. He's not like doing backflips and somersaults and shit.
Yeah, he's murdering the crap. Look, he gave him an extra kick.
Yeah, well,
It's okay. He's bad though. If this were a movie, they would have shown him, like beating the shit out of somebody like extra, and then so we don't feel bad for him.
Yeah. I saw a clip of someone saying like, I really like how anyone that's against Indiana Jones in the game, he just calls him a fascist.
That's right. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Andy, why'd you kill that guy? Oh, don't worry, he's a fascist. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's their name titles too. Like the first like stealth part where you're like clean, like hiding in the shadows. Like wait, and then you hear them talking, and it just says fascist. Blah 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 blah.
I fucking
You're like,
love that.
just fascist. He's the fascist.
That's great. That's actually.
I hope we get back soon. I cannot wait to get back to my kid. He is sick. Hopefully, I don't get hurt by this guy.
Yeah,
he's a fascist. Don't feel bad for him. All right.
Yeah. No, but I mean, everything's great, and
shit.
Yeah, that's actually him. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God, it's him. Okay,
yeah, that's straight up Mussolini.
Because we're in what year is it? 1937?
No,
yeah,
that's
something like that.
That'd be too. Oh,
we're between
37. Yeah.
We're between Raiders and Crusades.
Oh,
Crusade.
okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta ask that too. How was your feelings and thoughts of the opening of the game?
I thought it was a cool idea, and I'm glad it didn't overstay its welcome. Like I'm glad they took you through it, and you're just like, oh man, this sets it up, and you get the kind of the feeling of what's going on. I don't know. I mean, it's the very beginning of the game. I don't know if it's like spoiling, but like
I know what it is. But I was on social media. Yeah.
They recount something from one of the movies, and you play through it, and you're like, oh man, I wonder how long this. And like, it goes for a little bit, and then it gets into the actual
it doesn't overstay
news story, the Great Circle.
I thought it was a good way to do the tutorial. If you're going to do the tutorial and also tell everybody this is an Indiana Jones game, I thought that was cool. If it overstayed its welcome, then I think we'd be having a different discussion.
There's a part
even
of
if
me
it stayed for like another 10, 15 minutes, right? Then I think we'd be having a different taste in our mouth for the way they set the scene. But I think it worked for the way they did it.
Yeah. There's a part of me that wants that. For like, if I'm going to play an Indiana Jones game, I want to hear the fucking theme. I want to see the fucking hat. I want to see a whip, and you got to punch some Nazis every once in a while as well. Yeah. And then maybe do some archaeology bullshit.
Or fascist.
Yeah, fascist.
Nazis, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
That was so angry. Look at his face.
Yeah. No, I'm liking these cutscenes.
And they nailed like the villains in this, because they are obviously bad guys. But
fascists.
In true, I don't know if I'd say true Indiana Jones fashion, but like they have a way in Indiana Jones movies making the villains quirky. They have quirks, and they're fun to watch because of those. And they did it really well with the villain that you just saw, the guy with the slick back hair and the big fish mouth. Yeah. Like he is a fucking weird dude, but he's also like that guy's 100% evil. And it's great. He's so fun to watch. He's a little corny, and I'm here for it. I love it. He's not like awesome,
Bad.
sinister. He's just like, I'm bad, and now I will touch your face for no reason. There you go. And you're like, why did he do that? What is he even doing? And I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I
Yeah.
can touch you now, Indy.
Yeah. God, the lightings are we got to talk about the graphics. They're just like
It's
crushing
so good. Yeah, they're killing it with all the mood lighting. Like there, you just saw like that typical cinematic, dramatic,
Shot.
like kind of light hit across the eyes. Even that shot, it's just so good. It's so good, and they do it so well. The faces, the models, and everything are the attention to details really good. And then, yeah, I mean, it's a perfect game for me too because I just upgraded to like a new rig, and I haven't had like the chance to test it. This is basically my first test for anything like graphically wise, and it's just perfect. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I can't speak to how it would run on, I guess, on a lesser system, so others could report that or whatever. But
I heard it
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
run
right now,
well.
'cause
Yeah.
mine's a step back. I'm still running a 3080, so it's not. I'm not in the
Yeah.
4000 series of video cards yet, and it honestly it runs well, looks well.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, you're seeing it with the limitations of Twitch streaming, of course, but like there's the only thing that I notice, and I'm not sure since you have a higher end rig, Gassy, you might be able to speak to this, but like at the beginning of cutscenes, I will get a minor amount of like, well, I guess it's loading, I don't know, but like minor amount of stutter like right at the beginning, and it's very light, but it's
there
like
might be something like that.
and then it smooths out for the rest of it. But like at the very beginning of cutscenes, I'll get a little tiny stutter.
There's the only other thing I've noticed graphically, like again, I've been running it like all ultra everything 4K. And I've noticed a little bit in the background, you'll see almost as if somebody's like loading in the shaders really quickly in the background, and it's like slight like turn the opacity down of that. So it's like you're seeing a little bit of like real quick,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
and then it's
pop in.
fine. Yeah, a little pop in here and there. That's the most I've really seen that's actually like you know, noticeable.
Yeah.
But I haven't really noticed the stutter that you're talking about. But again, I haven't been necessarily paying attention. If it is so slight like that, it's possible I've just missed it. But outside of that, no, man, I mean, it's great.
It's enough to be noticeable, but not enough to be like, oh my God, it's broken, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's loading, and now it's smooth. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, look at where you are, even with the you know, low bit rate of us looking at it here on stream.
Yeah. I hope I look over at the
great.
pyramids, because when you look across the desert sand at the pyramid, it has those cool heat lines.
Oh, really?
Yes. I saw someone else playing too. I saw another buddy of mine playing, and I saw the heat lines. I'm like, oh God, it's done so well.
It is. It's really, really good.
If you're an indie
This
fan,
part in particular,
you're gonna love it. If you're an indie fan, if you're not an indie fan, you're still gonna enjoy it just for being a good, you know, action adventure puzzle like let's follow the thread, you know, mystery game. You know, it's cool, really, really cool.
and this is the part, like around about this part of the game. Well, actually, that last part where you saw the slick back hair villain guy, that's where they kind of reveal like what the premise of the Great Circle is. Game, and what the Great Circle is in fact. And it seems great. It seems like a great idea. I'm not sure where it's going to go. No, that's my companion. And if we get noticed,
you're just watching him get beat up.
I'm just she's just getting her ass kicked.
Oh, that's Gina. Like, that's the girl. Oh, okay.
They're beating up a woman.
She's
noted
fine.
Twitch streamer from Drop Frames.
Get up, Gina.
III stands by complacently while his female companion gets beaten up.
Insane.
Zeke signs off on beating women.
Insane.
That's the that's the joy of playing it on easy mode. Is like you can just let shit like that happen, and you know you're probably gonna be okay. However, I will say, a part not too far from this part, I had a little bit of trouble with, because it was clogged with Nazis. Like, they're just Nazis everywhere. Like, you know how sometimes when you're walking through an open air market and there's just Nazis everywhere? It was a lot like that.
It's a very
and they were noticing me, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
But I like the challenge of this game, I'm guessing on harder difficulties, is pretty fucking hard. Like, as far as like, you have to really know your paths, like stealth into the shadows, get behind them, knock them out, make sure they're not noticed and stuff like that. But me, like, except save that one part. I remember the first time I walked somewhere I wasn't supposed to be and got noticed. I was like, I'm just gonna knock out this guy. And then it was 40 guys. And I just left just a pile of bodies in the middle of this thing. And then people were walking by. DiGiorno, Padre, DiGiorno. And I'm just standing on this pile of corpses like cordwood. I'm just like, like, death priest.
Wait, what is the deal with the camera? What significance does the camera have?
The camera becomes an important part of the game throughout, and that's how you gain. I keep calling them Sierra points. They're adventure points. But anybody who played point and click games, you get points from doing stuff. And every once in a while, you'll be walking through, and a little camera icon will appear in the top left. So you take out your camera, find the frame, snap a picture, and you get points for that to spend on the skill books that you find throughout the game.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and he'll always have a little line to say for every picture he takes. It's like, oh, it looks like 15th century. It comes from Syria. You know, like he'll say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I'm just watching Zeke play the game. It's ridiculous.
Oh yes, and also, like Logical Error said, you use them to use the camera to solve puzzles too, because
that's what I was gonna say.
The little voice quips that you make, like this is one of the parts where you use the camera to solve, like, where did this guy go? But you'll like take pictures of plaques, and you won't know it what it says unless you speak Latin. You won't know it any other way, so you can't like really progress unless you take a picture of this plaque, and then Indy like translates it for you. He's like, okay, walk in the light of the blah, 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 you know, like that. He'll like tell you what it says, and then you're like, oh, okay, I know what to do now.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, it's actually kind of like, I like how it is. It's kind of organic. It's like watching the movie, like when he's like looking at the Night Shield, and he's like, Alexandretta.
Piece it all together. Yeah.
It seems like a proper indie experience. Then it is. I definitely want to play it.
If I could compare the gameplay, like Field, someone mentioned it before, and they reminded me, Dishonored-esque. I think indie Dishonored-esque combined with like, not as fast as Dishonored can be,
agree with that.
with like the perks and stuff, but the skulking around and the design of the levels and stuff, how there's like a bunch of different ways you could approach it stealth-wise. That's another thing they do pretty well from what I've seen, again, in my limited time with it, is there's a bunch of different paths you can go for achieving X thing or getting to X objective. Which is cool.
Also tip for new players as well, that I didn't discover, and it's right there. Like if you care to look, it's right there. But like road signs, fast travel. I don't remember if they told me or whether they told me or not. But if you go up to a sign that says, chapel this way, whatever, you can click on it, and if you've been there, it'll take you back there. I didn't know that, so that would have saved a shitload of just like walking back and forth or running back and forth between places.
Yeah, there's a bit in the Vatican where it's very, if you're not paying attention, I could see how you could easily miss it, but they tell you about fast travel, but it's blip there for a second, and then if you don't pay attention, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and apparently, someone from my chat said they literally just put out an update that fixes that cutscene stutter that I was talking about. So awesome.
Oh,
there you go.
Great. Yeah. Well, I guess we should also note it's currently still in its early access phase. They had 5-day early access for this. I think it ships tomorrow on the 9th, like officially for just a $60 product.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think right now you have to pay for the early access portion. Oh, chat saying tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. So day of recording Sunday, the 8th. Yeah, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. So
and it's on Game Pass, I believe I heard. Yeah.
I don't see why it wouldn't be. I mean, it's a Bethesda product, so it's first party. Makes sense. Yeah. I think is this only available on PC and Xbox? Or is it on PlayStation as well? It's actually, I guess I'm asking chat more to see.
It's PlayStation. It's a timed exclusive.
Oh, PlayStation later. Okay.
Yeah, PlayStation 5 later.
Next year. Okay. In spring. Cool. Yeah. Any idea how long it is? Do you guys know, or have you
I
heard?
have no idea, but people keep saying there's 4 hours of cutscenes, so that's neat.
Okay.
Yeah. And the cutscenes are great. Like, I don't mind them. And they're not. I think this game does a very good job of knowing how long you're willing to sit and watch stuff, or,
Yeah.
you know, be in a certain area, environment, or whatever. The pacing has been really good.
Yeah. I would
Mhm.
think, after doing Wolfenstein for so much, which is so action oriented, and they started working in those cutscenes, they're probably pretty good with pacing. I would think it's done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I did see a lot of folk, like I said when we started out talking about this, upset that it won't be making the Game Awards eligibility. That's the right way to say that, right? Yeah.
It's a tough word to say quickly.
Yeah, for Game of the Year, for any nominations, because they would have put this up there for some of them. So people are feeling pretty strongly about it. I'm curious if you guys, when you finish it, how strongly you feel about it as a game here at the end of the year.
I mean,
Well, knowing the nominees for the Game Awards categories and stuff, I definitely think it would be in a couple of categories.
Yeah.
Over some of the ones that are in there. But I mean, we look through the Game Award nominees, and some of them are just like, what? What?
Yeah, we did. And then I will also state, I watched the launch trailer for this, and it took about 90 seconds for them to drop the quintessential John Williams Indiana Jones stinger. I was a little bit pissed it wasn't there at the start. I was like, God, imagine what they could do if they just dropped this. Like, it's the best part of it. The music is so good. And then I heard it at the end of the trailer. So sounds like it's in the game.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I want.
That is one thing that I was a little bit, there's a minor disappointment. And I wanted to bring it up when Gassy was talking about the lucky hat ability. When you get knocked out and you get one last chance if you grab your hat and put it back on, like, they don't play the tune. I was like,
oh, there's no stinger?
They're definitely going to play the tune. They're definitely going to play, like, he grabs his hat all cool, like, goes from grayscale to color. He puts his hat back on and he gets up and he's ready to go again. And maybe just that little, like, whistle
flourish
in the background, just like,
yeah. But they use
you have
that
to
somewhere,
work for
right?
that shit, but when it happens, it's great.
It
Okay.
does happen, yeah. It does happen.
Okay.
I think how long have I played? Let me see.
The opposite of that would
11
be,
hours.
I'm glad they don't use it
I've had,
too
like-
much. You know what I mean? I'm glad it's not happening
It's not like the
every
fight
other moment.
music, like The Witcher.
Yeah. You're just starting
the
to fight and
screaming of The
it's,
Witcher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they make you work for that shit for sure. But it does make it all the more rewarding when it happens.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's such an iconic, just piece of music that in a lot of ways it transcends the IP, as it were. You can go up to most people on the street and just hum that tune. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know that song.
Yeah.
Great, it's fantastic."
Mhm.
Yeah, so fantastic. You guys both playing the PC version, right? So you can only speak to that.
Mhm.
Okay. I've heard.
Yep.
I'm sure it runs fine on the Xbox if it's a first party platform.
Now,
But
that is actually a good question. Could you pay for early access on the Xbox as well?
I
I assume
think
so.
so. Yeah, I
Okay.
think you can. Yeah, I wouldn't see why they would restrict that as a PC only thing. But
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
someone's reporting.
Yeah,
my
but it
chat,
was
the critical path, 12 to 16 hours standard. Critical path and some side quests, 16 to 30 hours, and completionist, is like 35 plus hours or whatever.
that's about what I would want from this type of game. Doesn't
Yeah,
overstay its welcome.
That's on par for I think what you'd expect and want.
Yeah. I will definitely be playing it at some point, maybe like
Play it.
January.
Let me know when you're gonna play it. I want to watch.
Yeah, the puzzles seem fun as well. Like, it just seems like they did a very good job of making you feel like Indiana Jones, and like lifelong fan of the original movies, I should say. They nailed that.
Get in there, solve some puzzles, punch some fascists. It'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be good. That is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Is that what it's?
Great circle.
The Great Circle. Okay,
Yep.
I wasn't sure.
Indiana
if,
Jones and the Great Circle.
the end of that. Let's talk another game that Max has been playing and I've been playing. A little Marvel Rivals. That game launched
Ew.
to a pretty resounding success. Let me actually pull up the Steam DB numbers. It is currently, as I scroll up, 463,000 players are playing right now.
Wow.
That is the all-time peak as of 4 minutes ago. So is Marvel Rivals going to do well? Yeah, it seems like it's doing pretty well. It's got 500,000 people playing on Steam alone, not counting all the other platforms. Yeah. People seem to be liking it. I played a good amount on Thursday evening when it launched. I haven't played since then because of PoE 2, but Max, I know, did you go back to it last night at all, or were you just strictly Indiana Jones?
I played a little bit at night. Yeah, I played a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like it's good. It's good fun. It's kind of like the early days of Overwatch, where I don't think the sweat has like fully
no, definitely
engrossed itself yet.
It's my favorite part of these games, and which is why I need to play it and enjoy it while it lasts. Because eventually, I feel like the sweat will overtake, or maybe it won't. Maybe it's a completely different type of game, in that way. But I don't know. My money on people are going to figure out the metas and get really, really good, and then I'll stop playing it because it's no longer for me anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be pretty sweaty. I'm trying to pull up some footage of it here real quick, but yeah, when I played it, I loved all the characters they put in. There's what, 30? I still can't believe there's 32 characters.
There's a lot of characters
in that game. Yeah, there is so many different characters in that game. And they also hit some like kind of not necessarily mainstream characters, I would say, like Squirrel Girl.
I haven't tried Squirrel Girl yet. Apparently she's fun. It's supposed to be easy. Her rating for difficulty of play is apparently very low. So you've played her. Is it pretty easy to pick up Squirrel Girl?
Yeah, you just point and click and I mean, the whole game, you kind of can do that and do pretty successful. There we go. Okay, sorry, I was pulling up gameplay. But yeah, she's definitely on like the easier. I would say her parallel in the Overwatch universe is kind of Junkrat, where you can just like spam, stuff at a wall and it'll ricochet off the wall and that type of stuff. She's strong. Most of the characters in this, I would say, are strong. A lot of people are talking about like imbalanced or overpowered characters. I don't know if I like played enough to even notice that or care about that.
Iron Fist can kind of mess you up. He's pretty powerful right now. People say Moon Knight is pretty, OP. I don't think any of them that I've played against are like so OP to the point where anybody that plays them just, dominates. I think it's probably more so, some of these characters maybe could use some tweaks here and there, but it still probably has to be played by somebody who's proficient a little bit at the game, to exploit that imbalance or whatever. But again, they'll figure that out as it goes on. There's only, the only way to really tweak all that stuff and figure it out is just let the game play and let people figure out what's broken and what's not.
Yeah.
And somebody asked too, where do I, stand on Jeff? Jeff is a good boy.
Jeff is a controversial character. Yeah.
He's a good, cute, beautiful, wonderful boy. And if you get killed by Jeff, you might get a little frustrated, but it's Jeff. All right. You should think of yourself privileged to be eaten by Jeff and swallowed and then put out in the ether or dead. Just move on with your life. Jeff's a cute boy. He's don't get mad at him. All right.
Yeah. People have strong feelings about Jeffrey. Jeff is a shark in the world of Marvel. Here's a little bit of Jeff right there. He's very cute. He is a healer. And people don't like him because he can basically swim in kind of the ground, and has a little bit of movement speed. It's kind of hard to target, but
He is hard to target.
Yeah,
you can get him.
They specifically don't like him because of his ultimate. And his ultimate is basically a giant AoE circle, that you can kind of move underneath the team. He then, eats all the people above him, team or, enemy team. And then, you can run off the map and kill them all. They don't like that. They don't like, turns out when you take people's ability to play the characters that they chose, it kind of pisses them off. And so there's a pretty big divide right now within the fan base on if you like Jeff or not. I prefer it, as you could see here. The first thing I did on night one was immediately start gobbling up people and jumping off cliffs, and it's a great joy. It brought me true happiness.
Apparently now you do get credit for jumping off and killing them that way. 'Cause you didn't used to. It used to just count as you killed, yourself, and those other people also died.
Yeah, they died from falling off the map. Yeah, it didn't.
Exactly. Yeah, it was still satisfying in the act. You know what you did, but now that's great. So they incentivize it even more, which is fine. I think they should do that. That's a strat. That's a legitimate strat. Gobble up the enemies, jump off, and pray that you remembered to spit out your teammates before jumping off the cliff. Have you jumped off with your teammates and killed your teammates?
I wouldn't. Everyone. It's 1v9. Okay, or 1v11 for me. Jeff exists for Jeff. The other people are just there so that I can build that ultimate. Right there. This is the ultimate in question.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get these guys up here. Definitely, this one doesn't work out so much because I can't get all the way back there in time.
Yeah, you have a limited amount of time, obviously, before yeah.
But
even if you don't kill them, like tactically, that's a pretty great way to just like anything that's happening right now. Now it's not.
Yeah, it is
no longer happening.
It takes them out of the game. And there's so many characters. Like I played Jeff here, but I was playing Captain America, and like Captain America's got a shield, and so he
haven't played Cap yet. Is he cool?
Yeah, I mean, if for any like one-shot ultimates, if Cap has his shield up, it just reflects it. So like Iron Man's ultimate, if he puts up his shield, it'll just reflect that giant bomb right back at Iron Man. Wow. But if it's like a multi-part ultimate that does multiple hits, it only can take 400 damage before the shield goes away. Then it's got to like recharge, which, for gameplay balance, I get that. Some of the characters in here are like, it's wild that like Jeff the shark exists and like Squirrel Girl exists. And then it goes to Hawkeye. And it's kind of just as lame as Hawkeye can kind of be in the movies, where it's like, what's your superpower? And it's like, well, I got a bow.
Hawkeye looks like the base level Hawkeye looks like he's like in a Nerf commercial when you're watching like.
Well, that's what he looks like in the comic books. Yeah, he's very comic book accurate.
Yeah, visually and all that stuff, it just does not appeal to me. I haven't tried Hawkeye yet. He might be fun to play, but the way that his base skin looks is just literally looks like, when you used to see those old Nerf commercials. But the kids were fully kitted out with all the accessories that came with the, the Nerf whatever main gun you got.
Yeah,
and that's what he looks like. He looks silly as hell.
Yeah, he's maybe like the one character that stands out as just being kind of normal. I mean, I guess maybe Scarlet or Black Widow as well, because she's just a spy with a sniper.
She still looks badass though.
She does. They nailed the character models. The art and everything in this game is unbelievably good in the art direction, as it was in the closed beta. I think I talked about it then when we were talking about it on the show. But to have all the 32 characters kind of feel like you would expect those characters would feel in terms of their gameplay, I think that's something that should be applauded, because there's a very normal, it's a very common thing to be like, oh, all the characters kind of feel samey, except this guy's got, a button that makes him go invisible. This guy's blah, blah, blah. No, you feel, there's the power fantasy of being the Hulk, being like this huge guy that just jumps at people and has shit ton of HP, and you can't really like get him off to blah, 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 right? Hulk things.
I'm curious, is Hulk like Diva?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Made that guy really pissed off.
Is Hulk like anything like Diva, where like he becomes Banner for a little bit?
That's exactly what happens. When you kill Hulk, he turns into Banner, and then you can build up your ultimate again, just like Diva, just by shooting like a little pistol, or not. Or you can die, and then you respawn. He changes into the Hulk. He spawns as Bruce, and then you change it. You get your ultimate right at the beginning of the game when you spawn in. And you can change into the Hulk. So it's cool.
There's no time limit on the Hulk. It's just
HP
damage
based. Yeah, it's HP based. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you heal the Hulk, you can be the Hulk the whole game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm trying to think of some.
Who would you say is the most fun to play?
I mean, I like Jeff. Jeff is a lot of fun to play. But like there's so many fucking characters. They're all like genuinely fun to play. Like Cloak and Dagger is in the game. They're not. I would say they're even they were on a TV show, but they're still not as known as like even Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
No, I was happy to see him because I read the Infinity Gauntlet comic, and they were in that fighting against Thanos.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh shit, Cloak and Dagger's in this. That's cool.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger are
I haven't
very
tried
strong.
Cloak and Dagger yet. Yeah.
I think they're regarded as like meta wise, they're one of the top healers, if not the top healer. But I can, just the amount of characters that they can put in this is literally, I mean, that the Marvel roster goes so far.
And there's already
just
so
look
many
at
in
Snap,
it too.
dude.
And there's
The
crazy part that you're saying is like, yeah, the fact that they have all these other kind of outer, these characters that aren't known as well, like Jeff and Cloak and Dagger and all that stuff, and they still have so many more that they can pull from to just add in, and that they've started with, off of launch, and it's free. It's free,
Yeah, it's all free. Everything's free. You don't buy any of the characters.
Free to play game, and for a free to play too, like it's really good quality. The animations are great. If you do want skins, a lot of the skins on there are badass. The MVP, which is to say at the end of the game, if you get MVP, they have like really cool MVP variations, animations for your characters. Some of them are a little more like fall flat and like, all right, they could have done something cooler there. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, it's all really cool. And there's crossplay as well.
Yeah.
And thick Squirrel Girl.
That
So if
Squirrel
you want to be a
Girl's,
thick Squirrel Girl, you can do that. You can live out that fantasy.
I guess price wise, that's if you see 1,400, just translate that to $14. So skins are about $14 on the low end. I think they go up to, is it 18 or 20 on the high end?
You know what, too? The luxury battle pass that they do as well, which is like, I want to say it's like how Halo, I guess, did.
Halo did it first, yeah.
Yeah, where you can go back and still get all the stuff. It's not like a timed, thing in terms of like you missed out on the opportunity for a battle pass that was whatever. I have this animation of Bucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it's the luxury one is only $10 from what I which I was surprised. I thought they would make it more expensive, but no, I think standard battle pass is $5 and the luxury quote unquote battle pass is $10.
Yeah, I think that's because they said that because this is half of a normal season link, that the season pass will be half the normal price. So when season one hits in
$20
January, it'll be $10 for the luxury or $10 for the base or something like that. So, but you're going to get like quote double the content from it. So, it makes sense.
Look at she's Elsa.
It's Elsa, yeah.
Totally.
How many or do they have Gambit yet?
No, but he would definitely be in there.
I mean, yeah, he'd be great in this.
No, that might make me play it if they put Gambit in.
I hope they put a voice line in there. It was like, woo, you know how long I've been waiting for this?
Oh yeah. They're definitely
I'm gonna make my name for myself. Oh boy.
I'm make a name for myself.
They will 100%. They have the Wolverine
they have
and
that
Deadpool skin. And like the MVP is him walking through the bus and like beating up all the Deadpool, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So they're very aware of like, what's happening in the greater MCU. So it's cool stuff. Like,
what if they were able to get
see what they add
Channing Tatum to voice Gambit for the voice lines? That'd be great. They probably won't, but that would be amazing.
Be great. Yeah.
Speaking of voices, do they have I mean, they're Marvel. I'm sure they have big names. Do you know any of the names?
They don't have any like the movies, but like Steve Blum does Wolverine, and he's been doing Wolverine for since I guess the animated is when he started on like X-Men, old school X-Men. Yeah, so he's in there. There's everyone else seems fine. Nolan, chat saying Nolan North is Rocket. He sounds fine. There's not anyone that's like stand outish is bad. It's all the all the big name voice actors that you would expect. Laura Bailey's in there, Nolan North, Troy Baker I think does someone.
Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, Yuri is Spider-Man, which was trapped.
So Spider-Man is in it. Okay,
yeah,
I wasn't sure because the Sony thing.
Yeah, it's actually hilarious. So Spider-Man's in the game, and they have the skin from Spider-Man No Way Home, right? From the movie, you can get like the Spider-Man No Way Home skin. But in the background of that for his MVP, it shows 2 other Spider-Men. And so it has, I think it has the Anthony Garfield. Anthony Garfield, is that his name? I think the actor for the other for the Amazing Spider-Man. And Andrew Garfield. Yeah, Andrew Garfield. It has him, but they couldn't get Toby, so it just has the Prowler from the animated Spider. So like, I don't know if that was a licensing deal or I don't know like how that worked out. But or it might just be another Spider-Man skin. It looked kind of like very Prowler, but
I gotta get that Punisher skin. It looks cool.
Yeah, I mean it's great. He's cool looking guy. Chat's saying that's Chasm. That my Spider-Man knowledge is not very strong. So apparently it's Chasm. They've talked about, they haven't talked about, there's been some data mining, some leaks for some future characters. It looks like they're going to do a lot of like movie tie-in stuff. So, Fantastic Four, those guys
makes sense to do.
Going to be put in there, which will be cool. I just want to see like more characters because like you can put in like Ant-Man, right? And Ant-Man's thing is he can grow very tiny. There's massive people walking around, and then his ultimate is he can go very big, and then everyone's really like, how do they get that in there? That'd be fucking sick.
It'd be really cool if he could do both. If you could pick like his ultimate to go like super small or like really, really big.
Yeah.
Tiny Dude's big now. Tiny Dude is big now.
Yeah. For me, the best skin is they have the Loki season 2 TV show. Let's say the final shot of that show is the skin. That's like the MVP thing. So kind of spoilery, but if you've seen the show, it's also like
I haven't seen the show. Cool. They haven't seen season 2 yet.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking
cool. Though. Did you like season 2? This is kind of an side, but
season 2 is better than season 1.
I'm excited then.
Makes me all this Marvel talk and you being a Marvel guy, JP. I don't think I've ever asked you who is your person in Marvel. Like who's your like?
It kind of goes. I don't know if I have a favorite. I would say growing up, Psylocke was actually probably my favorite. And she's in this game. Funny enough, Psylocke is in this game, but like. I don't know. I never really had like Iron Man wasn't cool in the comics till he came out in the movies, right? So he was
until
not.
He was 20, until he was Robert Downey Jr. Like he was not
cool.
He was not of the S tier echelon of Marvel characters.
Yeah. I would say my brother. I think my brother's favorite is Thor. And so there was a lot of Thor statues and like comics because my brother collected comics when I was growing up. He had like a shit ton of Thor stuff. Yeah. Dude, Thor's badass. What are you talking about? You don't like Thor?
Thor's like Superman. I hate Superman. Like I hate like, I'm super strong and godlike. Nothing can touch me, basically. Like, I don't like that,
Sure. Okay.
It's like I like characters with one like special ability, not like a billion,
Yeah, he's a god.
His special ability is he's a god.
Yeah.
So a demigod.
Yeah.
So
all right. Sure. Fine.
Wolverine's also like kind of badass too. I just like Wolverine. But again, I think so much of like who Wolverine is now is because of who he is in the movies. And so like
Wolverine's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a lot of people's favorite too, in general in Marvel, especially if they were exposed to Marvel through the comics as well as the animated show.
Yeah.
That is something I wanted to ask about Wolverine in this game. Is he Hugh Jackman tall or is he like comic book short?
He's short.
He's short.
Yeah.
Hey, good. Yeah.
Okay. He's very short.
I like that. He's a scrappy little Wolverine guy. Like he just whoops the shit out of people and he's like 5'6".
And so the other thing too, and going back to the actual like game part of Marvel Rivals, they have different like team up abilities. So if you have 2 or more different characters that are part of like a team up, then they can do something. They get a special move when those characters are active, or when something happens, then they get something special, right? It's additive to the character and to the experience. So if you pick Hulk and you pick Wolverine, you can do the fastball special. And so
Yep.
Hulk will go over to Wolverine, pick him up, and throw him.
That's cool.
And you can do like a double lunge forward, like Wolverine does when he runs at people with his knife, with his claws out like that. That stuff is really fucking cool. Because then, you know, if you're not playing it in like a super competitive environment, you know, you could have I could see where you join in and be like, hey, you guys want to go as like the Guardians of the Galaxy? You guys want to play the
Yeah.
Because they're all in there, right? So you can have Mantis, Star-Lord, Rocket, and Groot. And like you can walk around and they get a bonus if they do that. That type of stuff is badass. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
yeah. As it should be. Like that's the type of stuff that I think should be in this type of game.
I think you should be able to do a team of all multiple man.
That would be sick too. Yeah. I think multiple man will probably be a great character, especially if they're pulling from like niche characters. They're doing like a little bit of multiverse things. Like the story is that Galactus's daughter,
Galactica, right?
Galactica, is kind of getting all these heroes together to fight against the Dooms, because the Dooms basically like broke the timeline, and so that's what season 1 is they're telling that story, which will eventually lead to like, Doom's going to be a playable character, I assume, and all that type of stuff. But with them doing that, they can pull from anywhere. Like there's so many potential things that they could pull from. Hundreds of characters.
See, the thing is, like with the movies, the multiverse shit kind of bothers me a lot. Like they've done it well, but it's still like, multiverse. That means infinite possibilities, infinite everything, yada yada yada. But in a video game like this, where
Works totally,
it allows them to pull, I think it works.
Absolutely.
Wonderfully
I mirror that
well.
exact same sentiment. Yeah, I think if you're going to do multiverse with the Marvel stuff, absolutely works in a video game like Marvel Rivals. Perfect premise for it. But yeah, for the movies, it just takes away the stakes. You know what I mean?
It really does. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, this universe died. How many are there? Infinite. Oh, well, I mean,
okay,
it's terrible still that that universe died, but there's infinite number of them left.
Yeah.
To take its place. So I guess I'm not that sad.
Yeah.
Oh no, Gassy, same question to you though. Who's your Marvel?
I really liked Storm when I was younger. I still really like Storm. I don't play a lot of I don't play a lot of Storm in this game. She's a little more harder to like be good with from when I played in the playtest, but I should play her again. Storm's always been badass for me. Storm, Wolverine, probably Wolverine or Gambit as like a second. You know what I mean? From when I was younger. Yeah. Nowadays, I'd probably gravitate more towards like a Gambit or a Wolverine in terms of character. But Storm's still always like going to be there as like badass. She's fucking sick.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if either of you have watched X-Men '97, the like new animated version, but given that, I would say both Storm and Cyclops like elevated super high up in my favorite superheroes. Like they are bad fucking ass in that show. They do some really badass shit.
And honestly, it's about time Cyclops got a little bit of credit because he was such a dork. He's been such a dork.
Yeah.
In so many things. He's always been the bootlicker.
He sucks in the movies. The only time he's been good is in the comics. In the comics, he's a fucking just powerhouse badass. And they made him a fucking bitch in the movies, which really is like, I'm so fucking sad about Jean. And then he dies off camera. And Wolverine just walks in. He's like, I'm Wolverine. He was definitely the star of the film, so I get it. But yeah. He sucked in the movies.
And good.
Like I said, go watch X-Men '97. That opening episode, like he does some fucking badass shit.
This is making me want to get back to watching the original X-Men animated series, because I watched a little bit like when I was younger. It was mainly my brother watching it, so I didn't, take much of it in.
Yeah.
So it's been neat to watch it really for the first time as an adult. Like, and it's still good, man. It still holds up. Also, goddamn, it was like a bunch of kids watching, and some of the stuff I'm like,
oh yeah,
what the hell?
They deal with some pretty like heavy
stuff. Not to mention, I'm sure that was an awakening for several people when they were younger.
Yeah, Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. You
Certain
should.
Awakening
characters are
how,
drawn
Max? What are you talking
certain
about?
ways and very curvaceous in other ways. And
Yeah. Look, Max.
Yeah, that Jean Grey outfit. Goddamn.
Jean Grey's outfit. Yeah, I mean Psylocke, even Storm as well. All those outfits were crazy.
Yeah.
Or even I mean, even like Colossus. Even there were a lot of male characters that were just like ripped to the gills. That were kind of crazy. So it's good. I think it does exactly what Marvel wants, and that's people talking about Marvel, right? That's exactly what we're doing. It's been a long time coming, I think, especially after that Avengers game came out, and that got like so much shit on the internet after then eventually being shut down. It's good to see like a pretty good Marvel game. And it makes sense that it's a hero shooter in a world where like hero shooters have to have a strong IP tied to it to really come out of the gate swinging.
That ties into what I usually say to people who I'm sure they come into your chat and are like, "How's the Overwatch clone, the Marvel Overwatch skin, whatever reskin?" I'm like, listen, the reason why I like this is because I actually care about these characters. I know I'm familiar with most of them, and the ones that I'm not familiar with, they're more interesting to me rather than just like, I'm playing Overwatch. Who's this character? I don't know, he's like a ninja character. He does stuff. What about that one? They're a robot lady person thing. They got story and stuff. I'm like, but who cares? I don't care. I have no connection to any of those characters in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm just speaking from my own perspective. There's plenty of people like, the lore is so deep in Overwatch, but like this has been around. A lot of these characters have been around forever, right?
Yeah.
So there's so much more connection to caring on a base level about the characters that I'm playing in the game. That's part of the reason why I like it. And then you brought up the team up mechanics and stuff. That shit's cool. I like that a lot. I think that's also another separator from them actually like iterating and making it different and fun and unique.
Yeah.
So.
Very curious.
If you grew up with it like I did, like and a lot of people our age who grew up with the cartoon and the comics and all that kind of stuff, and to be able to like play the characters that didn't make the movies, but you're like, oh shit, they're in this game now. Like I was like even to a smaller degree in Snap. When I was playing Snap, and I'm like, oh my God, they put this person in.
Totally.
Holy shit, I remember this person from the comic. They never got any star time and they were great. Blah, blah, blah. So, and pretending, like, I remember like vividly pretending, and I wasn't allowed around because short story, my grandma married, after her first husband died, married a pilot, and the pilot would get decks of cards. He would get aviator decks of cards. And he had like 40 of them in a drawer at grandma's house. And I was not allowed near that drawer after a while because I would take her cards and fucking throw them everywhere because I'm like,
you want to be Gambit?
Yeah, it's like 5 card stud, jack so better to open, and I throw it. And I remember that shit. That's what this is. It's like, oh yeah, I can throw cards like Gambit, or sneaky snowy.
Those were collectible pilot cards. How dare you little shit!
Yeah.
No, but because they go to play like whatever game they go to play, hearts or spades or whatever, and they pull it out. It's like this deck has 33 cards in it. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about this, and probably what it does best, and why I think if people should check it out, is like they deliver on the power fantasy that you want, right? So like I'm sure when Gambit comes out, you're going to be able to do exactly what you just were talking about, Zeke. Like he's going to fucking throw cards. They're going to have a really high level sound effect. His skin, like the model, is going to look really fucking cool.
Gonna be voiced by Channing Tatum.
Yeah, he's going to have like great voice acting. It's all going to be AAA. Like I don't think enough credit can be given to the artist and kind of the money, as it were, right? When it comes to the animation, the look of all that stuff, like it's very, very, very high quality stuff. They absolutely nailed all of that. And so if they just keep adding characters and they keep it up, and it's a healthy process of releasing those characters into the game, yeah, I could see this doing very well for a very long time. Also from a gameplay perspective, if they do fix the imbalances, like, yeah, people are going to be playing this competitively as well. As long as they don't spend, $300 million on an esports team and all this other shit. Like, as long as they don't fucking fuck it up like that, then they're going to be all right. They're going to be, doing well. This guy apparently is super broken. That's what Max was saying. I actually have seen a ton of Iron Fist. Yeah, Iron Fist complainers.
I hear that Iron Fist is pretty broken, and I hear that Moon Knight is pretty broken when played properly.
Yeah.
I played Moon Knight a little bit. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have the Mr. Moon skin, by the way. For any comic book nerds, he's got the Mr. Moon skin, which is badass. Wearing like the fantasy get up. You never seen that, Zeke? The Mr. Moon skin?
I think so. You describe it to me. I'm pretty sure I remember what it looks like.
Let me pull it up.
Was that in that XCOM Marvel game? What the fuck? Midnight Suns.
Mr. Knight, we're saying?
Oh yeah, not Mr. Moon. It's Mr. Knight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it was in. It was actually in. It was in comics, but it was also in the Moon Knight TV show.
The maps too, I will say, that are fun. I have no issues with the maps so
Yeah,
far.
I didn't either.
Especially the new ones. That last one you were just showing was like a Hydra, facility or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really cool because a lot of the stuff like changes, the perspective or whatever, like shifts. Like certain levels will you'll be, above, you'll have the high ground at one point, and then it'll start shifting, and then all of a sudden it's really neat.
Yeah. Levels.
Very cool. Good level design.
Very dynamic as well. But yeah, that's one of the skins you can get there, Mr. Knight. I don't know why I say Mr. Moon. So he looks badass though. Like 10 out of 10.
That does look cool.
Art. And I worry for when I actually have time to play this, because I think I already dropped like $100 in it, but I didn't even buy anything. I was just like, I'm definitely gonna spend money. Oh, I bought the Jeff, the Jeff skin, which is it's like a dolphin skin, I think. I was just like, yeah, just give me the Jeff skin.
You can't be faulted for
what
that.
What did you drop $100
on?
So like it's just like any other
Right.
free to play game. They have tokens, and so you can spend X, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, and so you got to get the best value, Zeke. You got to you got to spend the most amount of money to get the best value, so then you can buy all the skins with the best value money.
That's the what I was getting at. It's skins, right? That's
it's all
all
skins.
cosmetic.
It's all skins. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think that's great, because if you if you've played a game for, a certain number of hours, like, I don't know what your threshold is, but I have a certain number of hours that I've noticed, like, on a free to play game, where I will play it for this many hours, and then I will start spending money to make my character look cooler, because I'm tired of looking at the same character skin over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I think as I've had more disposable income, that threshold is a lot lower. Like, if I'm vibing with a game for
absolutely, yeah.
If I'm vibing with a game for 30 minutes to an hour, and I can, make myself look cooler, I'll fucking swipe. Like, it's the threshold is very low. But
I'm probably gonna spend some money on this.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out which characters I'm gonna be playing the most. It's too early right now. Definitely gonna probably get a Jeff skin. You got it.
You got to get the Jeff skin. The Jeff skin.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. It's worth.
So we've heard stories of JP. This is a related thing that I wanted to ask Max about. We've talked to JP about like what he spent on free to play games like PoE and stuff like that for skins and whatnot. And it's, as you might imagine, it's a pretty big number. But what is the most you've spent on a game, Max? Like, that's free for just bonus shit.
I don't
think you.
I don't know. I don't really. It's not going to be anything impressive. I'll tell you that much. Like, I just don't.
He doesn't go full.
I'm just curious if you're the kind of person that goes in sometimes.
I can. The Sims. Oh yeah. Well, that was just because they had everything on sale. Okay, I spent like $600 on The Sims. Let me preface this by saying,
there you go. There's my boy. There's my gamer. That's what I wanted to hear, baby.
That was to buy the newest Sims and all the expansions because they were quote unquote on sale. And I got pressured by Burke as we were going to play with Dr. Gluon. I'm sure some of you guys know him.
Yeah.
But he was setting up this Sims thing for us. And I'm like, Well, we got to get all of the stuff in order to, be able to have all of the options and expansions.
Yeah.
$600 later. Yeah. So, that's where we are.
Yeah.
But no, I don't have anything crazy.
I think I'm around that range for certain games.
Yeah. I don't usually go
Can't
too
remember,
high.
I know I spent some money on Warframe. I think you know what? I think I'm more like I have a limited, or however many hours I would start spending money, but then I kind of stop. So I probably have $1,500 spread out in $200 increments, $200 to $300 increments in different games.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I think I have 7,000 in PoE alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you've probably gotten a lot of value out of that, and you've played a lot of, and you've physically, or not physically, but it's tangible stuff. It makes your experience more enjoyable. It's right there. Who can't say that?
I got 10,000
Star Citizen fans.
That's right.
They
I
can't
got
say that as much.
$10,000 or 10,000 hours in that game. So I think, $7,000.
Less than $1 an hour is pretty good.
Yeah, that's
pretty good value.
It's pretty good fucking value. That's how I keep telling myself.
Show the crab. What's the crab?
And I'll show you when we talk about PoE 2. There's a crab skin that I've been using, and so
okay.
I was like, what the fuck is the crab? What do we? I didn't even know what that was.
I didn't know either. I just saw it in your chat, and I'm like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
I want to know what that is.
I was waiting for somebody to be like, I have Star Citizen, and I'll have you know that I have plenty of value.
Yeah,
I was waiting.
Mickey
for it.
Mouse.
It took longer than I thought.
You have to go to the mouse. Yeah.
You motherfucker!
You have to go to the mouse. So, Marvel Rivals crushing it. I'm gonna refresh. 28 seconds ago, they're at 476,999 players on Steam, all-time peak. So they're still hitting peaks.
Free.
That's the power of free and Marvel right there. All it takes, a massive IP.
Get them in, get them enjoying the game, and then get their money.
Yeah, and free.
That's what Snap was too. It's like Snap is free, right?
Yeah, it's free to play.
Yeah.
I
put some bucks into Snap too.
Yeah, so I'm actually, that's one of those games where I'm like, I put too much money into it. I don't play it anymore. That game can be frustrating as fuck.
But you liked the time you had with it. I did too.
That game, I will say one of the worst things about Snap was that I would play it right before going to sleep.
And you'd have angry dreams.
And I would go to bed pissed off, like almost every night.
Sleep fighting.
That's no good.
Yeah. I would just go to bed every night really pissed off because I would play like 4 games right before I'm about to sleep of Snap.
I just realized too, probably one of the other ones that I've spent some money in, and I don't even play it like ever, is Fortnite. I bought skins on there just because they kept putting new IP in there, and I specifically would buy skins in Fortnite because they have actually a pretty cool call it like a whatever replay thing, theater mode or whatever, where you can go back and like do stuff. So I specifically would buy stuff just on the premise of like, well, maybe I'll make some silly videos with it in the future. I gotta have Darth Vader in case I want to go back and make some machinima or whatever for it. So that's another one I probably put some money into, but I don't have anything like gross. Like I don't think I have anything though I've put it like 1,000 plus into.
Yeah. I guess a reoccurring trend on this week's show, maybe for the future of the show, we do dumb Twitter takes of the week. Because we have a second one as it relates to Marvel Rivals. Former Blizzard president tweeted out a fun thing in a now deleted tweet. Everyone's favorite Mikey Barra tweeted out, if I click that, is that going to open Twitter? Hold on, let me be careful here. Click that and then do that. It does. Okay. Yeah, here's the deleted tweet. Looks like Overwatch Marvel Rivals ships tomorrow. This was on Wednesday. Much like Light of Motoram, which was that clear copy of Horizon Zero Dawn that came out of China. I mean, even the character name, Widowmaker in Overwatch versus Black Widow in Marvel Rivals, lol, NetEase/Tencent, all the same. How do you tweet that as a former executive and you're like, got him. It's just, man. No, he was not joking. He was 100% real. And yeah, he deleted the tweet. Just a
No, it's one of my
real
favorite
dumb take.
One of my favorite things to do on my stream is to like mispronounce a word that I know how to pronounce, like debris instead of debris,
Yeah.
and just to bait people to see, like, is he that dumb? This seems like that, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't. And like it's even crazier too. Like, to really critically think about it, Blizzard is a company that is successful or had success by literally taking other famous things like EverQuest and making it approachable to the general audience, a la World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could he have? Not that he was a part of that original group, but like, that's what, like, Warhammer is fucking StarCraft. Like, it's so stupid.
I do like the reader's note as well.
Yeah.
Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, is a popular Marvel hero who made her comic book debut in 1964, more than 50 years before Overwatch and Widowmaker were created. The
Yeah.
poster is spreading misinformation.
Yeah, like, I read this and I was like, oh, that's a joke. And then I was like, wait a minute, I don't think it's an actual joke. And then I
Not a
definitely did the, like, adjust glasses. Actually, Black Widow has been around for so long.
Yeah.
Just really stupid. Just really stupid. It spawned a whole bunch of articles about that dumb take, and he deleted the tweet because I think he didn't want to be made fun of anymore. So
Yeah.
good going, Mikey Barra. He did it again. He had some other dumb take
I
in the
don't-
back.
I don't know if you guys have done this in your life. I've done this a few times in my life where I think the cover of a song is the original, and then I hear the original for the first time. I'm like, this sucks. This is a shitty version of that song. Like, actually, Bob Dylan wrote All Along the Watchtower. Jimi Hendrix did it after. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Okay.
That happens to me too.
I'll shut up now.
That happens to me.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little PoE. And I say a little
PoE-ness?
because, yeah.
Think about your PoE-ness. How large is your PoE-ness?
It's very large. He likes
He
likes
made that
making.
joke before the show started. He's so proud of it.
He's very.
I love that
he
joke.
loves
It's not even
the-
my joke. It's not even my joke, but
Yeah.
I love saying and talking about his PoE-ness.
He loves that I
Please.
call it PoE-ness.
It's funny. I like it. It's a good joke.
He
Good
likes the
gag.
name. Yeah. Path of Exile 2 has dropped. It is currently at an all-time peak as of 36 minutes ago, with 578,569 players on Steam. So huge.
Nice.
Pretty
Congrats to GGG for that. I have put, according to my Steam playtime, it says
Oh, you're a
13
crab.
and a half hours. That doesn't seem like that much. I think that's wrong. It should be closer to 20.
Are you a crab or a scorpion?
Are you
thing?
counting
What-
the? Are you, I think your mental clock is probably counting the time that you spent trying to get in the game.
So that's the thing. Okay, let's talk about that. We can
Okay.
start on Friday. The game was scheduled to go live at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it launched at. We were playing the game by, I want to say 4:30.
Mhm.
So about 3.5 hours of quote unquote issues. And since then, rock solid, no issues. Like, it's like, you cannot, both this and Rivals not having issues is insane. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy that they're
Rivals
able
has
to.
had zero issues. I just thought about that too. But yeah,
Yeah.
with this,
Yeah,
I expected way more issues than what you're saying right now.
totally. Yeah. I mean,
PoE2.
anytime you have an online launch with that many people interested in playing it, there's always going to be fucking issues. But
People were getting nervous too because like what they did a thing that like released 1 million codes or something like that.
yeah, but before the actual launch, leading up to it, they put out a video and was like, hey, we crossed over 1 million copies or 1 million keys distributed. So like, that's what we were planning for. So both thank you And also, you might be fucked this weekend because we don't know what's going to happen with all of our systems. And I think that type of transparency, alongside the fact with the game, like you can log in and there's no queue right now. At least, well, there wasn't a queue yesterday. I don't know if there's a queue right now. I would doubt it there is. But there's been no issues from a server point of view. I think the most that has happened is it's been like the server will go offline or you'll get disconnected for like 2 or 3 seconds. But everything they've built into the game, so when you get disconnected now, it basically like takes a snapshot of what's happening. And so when you log back in, at least when I logged back in yesterday after being disconnected, I had all of the same monsters right where I was and the game was paused. And so the first time I actually like clicked in, everything started playing again. And I was like,
that's wild.
That's fucking impressive. Like I was shocked that it worked that well. It didn't like send you back.
Are you listening, hardcore WoW?
Yeah.
Are you listening?
Yeah, it's like it didn't send me back to town. It didn't auto hearth me. It just like immediately showed up right where I like disconnected. Which is also funny because if that happens to a hardcore player, you can pause PoE now. You just hit escape and the game pauses. Like that's wild to think, but for hardcore players, which I don't think there's many of, which there's a reason for that, which we'll get to in just a sec, but you can just hit escape and it pauses. So if you're about to die, hit escape and just be like, all right, how do I get out of it? What do I do? Yeah. Can I somehow survive this? If you have that much like thought process built in to actually being able to do it. So it's very well done from a technical standpoint. Performance-wise, I was on camp. It runs really, 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 really well until I started using a lot of fire abilities last night. And then it was going from like no fire abilities on the screen. I'm like 140 to 200 FPS. Fire abilities on the screen, we're talking like 40 FPS. So there's still some optimization that needs to occur. And a lot of that I think is just lighting because it is a very, very, very pretty looking game. From just the lighting itself to the spell effects to the clarity of the monsters to the abilities that they're doing. Like you can very much so be able to tell what's happening in the second to second combat 10x better than you could in Path of Exile 1. And Path of Exile 1, there was just kind of like a mix of fucking a ton of different colors happening and shit fucking exploding on screen. In this game, everything is like very telegraphed and very, I don't want to say dumbed down because it's not dumbed down. It still looks really cool, but you can tell what's happening on the screen. It's not just like effects diarrhea happening, I guess is how I'm going to put it. It's like there's a clarity to it.
That's good.
Which is good. It's what a lot of people want.
That's the thing I'm most excited. I'm playing PoE 2 later tonight. I usually take Sundays off, but I'm scheduled to play it tonight. So I'm stoked to hear. I keep hearing both from people that are new to PoE as well as experienced users and players like yourself that are saying like in general, it's just they've improved that new user experience for those that are not, as steeped in PoE.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's awesome. And that's what you'd hope.
We could speak to that a little bit more. I will say the onboarding experience for PoE is like night and day for PoE 2 compared to PoE 1, night and day difference. In the first like 4 hours, the player will not be like as overwhelmed as they were. Like, sure, they're going to open up the passive skill tree and see an even bigger skill tree, like 1,500 fucking nodes that you can take. But they're going to see that. But like a player can just take those first couple of nodes and be like, okay, I'll just do this right here. And I don't need to like read too much into that just yet. Because the way that the skill system works this time around is probably I would say it's maybe my favorite part of PoE because you don't put skills in your items anymore. You just put them in like a skill list. And then the sockets for each skill are on the gym. And so it's very user friendly. It's not convoluted. It's very easy to just be like, I want to try this support gym in there instead. And then you'll just create that support gym and put it in there. And you could be like, does that work? I don't know. It kind of works. I guess I'll use that for a little while and see what else I get. And so you can just, go on about it and have a pretty successful time just figuring it out, I guess. That all being said, Path of Exile 2 is a much fucking harder game than Path of Exile 1.
Yeah.
So much so that like people are actually saying it's too hard. I don't think it is.
Maybe they're just bad.
That's the thing. Like it is
Sounds
very
like my chat.
Yeah, it is very much like, well, maybe the ability that you're using is not that good, or maybe melee is like not that good right now, which I think could be true. Because there are there's a lot of bosses, and the bosses are fucking awesome. All the bosses, while they could be dumbed down to like, oh, it has a large telegraph move which you have to dodge roll out of, and then a smaller telegraph move which you have to dodge roll out of. From a presentation point of view, they're really, really, really good. But they're difficult. And so a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's kind of like Dark Souls, Elden Ring PoE aspect.
That said, I'm sure I'm going to get dumped on and die a bunch when I play the game. But, as a streamer, you hear that too many times in your chat to not throw it back at people when you hear it from just the general populace of gamers.
Yeah, well, and it could be true because like some abilities in this game are very strong and some abilities are not very strong. Like it's early access for a reason, and they still have a ton of balance to address and go through. And certain bosses are harder for certain classes and easier for other classes and all that stuff.
I think you'd want it to be, if specifically speaking for a game like PoE, you'd rather have too much of a challenge than just motoring through the content, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably, if you had to choose between the two problems to have, it's better to have it be more difficult and then pull it back and tweak it a little bit and adjust than it just being so easy where people have already gone through your story, your content and all that stuff. And you're like, shit,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I guess for me, like looking back over the past 2 days that I've played, I finished the main campaign, and now once you finish the first 3 acts in the game, you do them over again on a harder difficulty because the game, when it releases, will have 6 total acts.
You've already beaten the game?
Well, no, because I'm not in end game yet.
Okay, well, never mind.
There's no like beating the game. I'm probably 100 hours from even seeing the end of the game's content. But anyways, what was I talking about?
Your PoE-ness.
I got lost.
Chat will tell you in a half second. We'll just stall for a few more moments, and they'll get you right back.
I was saying I've died specifically to a couple of bosses, but where I've had to just retry. But they put checkpoints right before the boss, and so there's no like running back to the boss. There's no teleporting back. You just walk right back into the boss arena, which I think is awesome. I really love that. And every time that I've died on a boss up till this point, if I look back on the weekend, it's always been my fault. It's never been because the boss did something bullshit or whatever. It's like, oh, I dodge rolled that poorly, or I need to look out for that more.
Never was it where the game was bullshit, whatever the game was doing and throwing at you was bullshit, and and left a bad taste in your mouth because you should have survived, but the game fucked up, seemingly.
Yeah. And there was one boss fight that I died at the end. And when you die in this game, the map is reset, like the mobs respawn, and you lose all loot that hasn't been picked up. So I died at the end of a boss fight, and when I went back into the boss arena, all the loot that the boss dropped was not there. That was kind of shit. I felt kind of upset by that. But
you should have just hit escape before you died.
Yeah,
thought about
it. The other thing that a lot of people are having conversations about is, at least while leveling, there's not that much loot in general, which is a good and bad thing. I think if there was more loot, it would overwhelm players.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, honestly. As somebody, again, not somebody who's like really, really hardcore into PoE and all that stuff. One of the most annoying things about these types of games for me, even though I enjoy playing them, is just being overwhelmed by the sheer amount that's coming at me, and
Yeah.
loot is definitely a part of that.
You
Where
have-
there's so much, and I'm constantly just going through which is the best one, what is most optimized. I fucking don't like that personally.
You have the game very much wants you to craft items from the get-go. And I think that is maybe one of the things that it does well, if not the best, is force a player to interact with the crafting system. And not just like, zoom through 3 acts and not craft a single thing. The game very much expects you to look for white items or blue items with good stats and then craft on those immediately. And it's an approachable system because the things do what they tell you they're going to do. Like the crafting items tell you what they're going to do, and they do just that. And then you can look at the item and be like, well, I think that's better, or I think that's worse, and do whatever you want with it, sell it or not. So it's a much more like approachable game all around. And I think that's where it's a win. I don't agree with the statement that it's too hard. I think it's just people are still learning to play the game. Like a lot of times, if not every time Path of Exile launches a new expansion, there's a billion fucking build guides. The game came out Friday, and I think there's maybe like a handful of build guides, but a lot of people just don't know because
Give it time,
people haven't played enough yet. They've nerfed 2 things specifically because they were just outright broken. There was one that was like one-shotting bosses, and so they nerfed that ability, and they nerfed another ability, I think last night or this morning that I saw. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It seems like they're really doing everything right this time around.
Watch me too. Like right now, I'm like, well, you'd probably want the problem to be that it's too hard. Give them time, and then later on tonight, as I'm playing, this game's too goddamn hard. Like,
I mean, it's
AP help.
It's pretty. There are like, I've done a lot of bosses where because of the build, not because of my own skill, because that's not a thing. Because of the build that I'm playing, I'll one-shot the boss, and they're just like, "What the fuck? How the fucking I spent like 20 fucking deaths on that?" And I was like, "Well, I lucked into a good ability. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not."
That's what you just say. You're just good. You're just different.
Yeah,
you got that dog in you.
There you go. There you go. But a lot of people are also not playing hardcore because they do die. It is sometimes there are like shitty things that happen. There's a lot of body blocking. I've seen a lot of conversations about that. Like, if mobs surround you, you cannot physically move. They call it phasing in Path of Exile 1. You could phase through mobs. In this one, you can't. So sometimes you just get stuck in a fucking corner and die because of that. Yeah. So pretty annoying there. But yeah, I think all in all, it's been good. Like, I'm really enjoying it. I'm in Act 2, probably get to maps later today. All the bosses are awesome. I didn't really, I could show like, cause there is so many, I could just show some off.
Did you have to change your build a lot or at all, your personal build, or did you just luck into one that was awesome?
Kind of just lucked into one. Like I've made some minor changes here and there. This is the boss you fight. It's got like different mechanics to it.
That looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, this one took me 3 or 4 tries. They have very telegraphed moves. You have a dodge roll in this, and the dodge roll is like paramount. You have to use
What's your build?
it.
What's your build?
Playing
you got
a
like
witch.
Some sort of crab thing or whatever going on.
The crab thing is all MTX. It has nothing to do with the actual character. I'm basically a witch that utilizes minions and searing skulls, which is a big ability.
Do you have a recommendation to me what you think I would like based on what you know of me as a person player?
I would say melee is going to be pretty rough.
I'm probably doing casting sort of thing. I don't think I'm going to be up and close.
Yeah, so you can have some fun with sorcerer, I would think. Sorcerer is pretty good. There's also merc. Merc uses like guns, like big ass crossbows or grenade launchers, stuff like that.
What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say I like characters naturally that do ranged attacks? Yeah. Is that what you're saying? You're saying I gravitate towards snipers and bows and things of that nature? What does that mean?
Yes. That's what I would say.
Oh, okay.
But also say Merc's a little hard though, especially starting out. I think it's better, late game, but Merc is strong early game.
Okay.
I saw a couple people like on top of each other in your chat say go merc with WASD. Does that mean like the difference between controller and keyboard is vast?
That's another thing we could talk about. One of the new things they implemented in PoE 2 is WASD or WASD movement, right? You can now move around with WASD as a control scheme, or you can left click. Like
What do you
old
do?
Path of Exile. I've got 10,000 hours of left clicking, so that's what I've tried and that's what I use.
I might try the WAS.
But everyone that has used WASD is like, this is fucking awesome. This is how it should be played.
I feel like that would probably work.
That sounds
better
awesome.
with my natural,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, and that's the reason they put WASD in, and a lot of reasons is because it's controller. You can use a controller to play.
Yeah.
And controller actually is very, 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 very good. Because the game has couch co-op now. And so you can have two players at once playing on one screen, which you would think wouldn't work, but they made it work, and it's fucking awesome. Like, it's a really cool
I kind of want to
thing.
try that.
Yeah.
Hey, we should try that sometime.
Yeah, I'm totally done.
Hey, I want to come over.
Well,
I'll try it.
It's got crossplay, so I could just log into this character while playing on your PlayStation.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Like that type of
that's cool that you could do that, but unfortunately, the experience isn't the same if it's not in person. So Zeke, unfortunately, you won't be able to.
Yeah, sorry about that, Zeke. Sorry. Apologize.
You could rectify that. There's a way you could change that. It just might be a little expensive.
Yeah, a little expensive as well.
No, like the couch co-op notwithstanding, I've been holding this back, and I would love a day, like, just some day where JP like does the tutorial like
Ziggy.
Ziggy did it before, and he fooled me into thinking that a fishing pole was like the best item ever.
I did that with Max a while back. I don't think I was that good at it. I think I really overwhelmed Max.
I don't think you were very good at it either.
Yeah.
Speaking of somebody who, you were working with, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I never.
Well, then maybe I'll just play it on my own then, and I'll just whatever. Yeah. That's another question I wanted to ask. Like, I am not hip to this at all, so I forgive my ignorance. But like, as far as the game being $30, it's $30 now, and then it'll be free later. When will it be free?
It'll be free when the game hits 1.0. And so it's
so it won't be free for a while.
Yeah, they're thinking at minimum 6 months out. I would probably think about a year. That's when it'll go free to play. That being said, $30 gets you in-game, like, it's not just $30 to play. You get $30 of the in-game currency. And so it's a lot of people, a lot of PoE vets would be like, oh, well, you're going to buy those stash tabs anyways and spend that money if you play it all. Right. So you're kind of just buying that. I would actually go as far as to say, like, you don't need any of that at this point, because the items initially for the first 10 hours of the game, you don't get that much shit. You're not interacting at all with the player economy. At least I haven't. The only thing you're really doing is going to vendors, looking around to see if there's any good items, and then buying those and selling your old items. So, like, you don't really need stash tabs. That'll probably change once I hit maps and I actually start selling stuff to other players in the world and things like that. But I think I used 2 tabs, and that's my stash right there. And I think I have 35. And so, like, there's no reason, because it all ported over from Path of Exile 1. Both MTX
skill tree Batman
and all the stash tabs ported over. So there's no reason, I think, initially to buy any of that. You can just use the free tabs, which I think there's 8 that they give you. They're not sorted or anything. They're normal tabs where you can just dump whatever you want into it. But yeah.
Cool. From a streamer perspective, how's the integration been with the 2 Twitch gifted subs for Pet Chimera?
Yeah, that was crazy that GGG put that in there.
For everybody too. It's not like an exclusive thing.
Yeah, it's not exclusive. Anyone that streams Path of Exile has a 2 gifted sub to get a in-game pet. I know Ziz shot up like 30,000 subscribers in one day.
It's crazy.
I saw Asmongold decided to turn on his partnership that day, and he also got like 30 or 40,000 subs on his stream. Yeah, Ziz is doing a subathon, so I think he's almost at 40,000 subs, and he started out with like 2,000 or 3,000. I've got, I think I want to say like 1,000 or so subs, so it's awesome. Like, GGG doesn't have to do that stuff, but it definitely incentivizes you to stream. And for me,
and I'll shamelessly say I'm going to play it tonight. So if you haven't gotten it,
there you go. Yeah, I mean developers don't have to do that, and I think when they do, it's a great way to have a positive relationship with a streamer without ever even communicating with them. Like if you put drops on a launch and you put gifted subs, the streamer's going to be like, cool, I will definitely check that game out. Right.
Added incentive. Yeah. Why not try it and see?
Yeah,
that's cool. It is cool too that they did make it for anybody playing, in the category.
Yeah. They very could have locked that
list of streamers. Yeah. That's typical. That's not unheard of for devs to do that. And, speaking of streamers, that obviously it's better for us if you're on the list, right?
Yeah.
For like speaking to the like Space Marine 2, when I had like the part of the people that had the VIP drops or whatever, that was great, right?
Yes.
But also I'm totally fine with, devs doing this as well and just opening up to any streamer. That's a good call by them.
Yeah, this is a cool little map mechanic that I'll highlight. On this map in particular, if basically in the center, they're like story-wise, which I would actually say the story's at least better than PoE 1 this time around. Like it has a cohesive story that you can follow. But in the center of this map, they're basically like generating a sun. And so as you get closer to the center where those little that little bridge is on the map, with the point in the like right-hand side of the screen, you start taking damage unless you're in the shadow. And so it's very much like a environmental aspect, which kind of hasn't existed apart from just like lava being on the ground and stuff like that. So they're trying new things, and there's a bunch of new like boss mechanics that haven't been seen before in Path of Exile, which I think worked very well. But yeah, all in all, I'm enjoying it right now. I think it's very good.
No, it's definitely like you're piquing my interest, because the fact that you can play it with a controller like legitimately and be okay with it, that's a huge thing for me personally, because that's how I like to play twin sticks.
Yep.
With the twin sticks.
Yep.
But also like, can you make any build like viable, or is it just like, don't bother with that shit, it's fucking garbage?
I have not watched enough or done enough to know. Like, I think most characters are viable, but there are definitely weak builds, and let me restate that. There are definitely weak abilities, and there are definitely strong abilities.
Okay.
So there's like, there are definitely things that like will be tuned and fixed in the next month or 6 months or whatever. Both, nerfs and buffs, both ways.
Okay.
So
no, the reason why I ask is because a lot of times when I play these games, I don't play them to min max. Yeah. I play them because I want to like I play the Elder the Souls games the same way. I play like the character that I want, that's the coolest.
Yeah, you want the fantasy,
and I'll make that character work. I want the fireballs and that kind of. I want to be a fire mage, or I want to be like, a tank, like the literal tank that looks like a tank. I want to do that. So I was curious if I wanted to be something like, I don't know, pick an element, lightning. Yeah. I want to be a lightning guy.
Yep. You can totally be a lightning guy. Okay.
I want to be a passive aggressive build and break them down, for passive aggression. Can I do that?
Yeah.
I want to make them all just like all the mobs just walk away. It's like,
yeah.
I want them to feel so bad about themselves that they just are no longer an issue, and maybe they take care of themselves.
Probably find it. Yeah. I want to show
one of the abilities is like microwave fish in the break room. Like, Oh, fucking Max is microwaving fish in the break room again, and everybody just walks away grumbling to themselves.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Is that bothering
So
you guys?
I'm a pescatarian. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a diet I'm on. It's for my health.
Shame them for not leaving the toilet seat down.
I want to show
It's like there are women here, guys.
I want to show a little bit of this fight. They've shown it in some of their previews, but if you don't want to see a particular boss fight, then look away for a second. This is probably my favorite fight in the game. It's just a boss that happens later, and they surround you with guards, kind of like Spartans. And you're fighting a guy in the center, and as the fight goes on, that gets smaller and smaller. And the mobs on the side also shoot poison that you have to dodge. So
Why'd you die?
I think I got poisoned right there. This fight took me, I think this was the hardest fight so far, and this is the easy version. I have to do the hard version later today, and it's going to be pretty difficult. But yeah, you can kind of see how the fight evolves. It's really well done. If this is, the base of what they're trying to do, I'm super fucking excited for 100 more of these. I think right now there's about 50 or 60 boss fights in the game. They've said they want to launch.
Jesus.
They want to launch 1.0 with 100, and like I'm fucking on board. Like I'm fucking on board.
I don't know. It seems kind of like lazy dev design. It's just a box. You're fighting in a box.
Like look at all the stuff
No,
you got to
like-
dodge on the ground, but look how you can tell that you got to dodge that shit. Like that is like impressive from a game development point of view. I think that there's a clarity in the visual clutter that.
Yeah.
I died right there because I fucking stood in the bad shit.
Yeah.
Like, I need to get out of the fucking way next time. It's cool.
I absolutely love that idea. Like the same thing with Elden Ring. It was like how many bosses are in Elden Ring? They just clogged it. But like that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want those boss fights. Those boss fights are just like, and from varying like difficulties too. Like this boss will be easy for your build, and this boss will be it will just is a hard counter to what you have.
And there's a lot of that in here. I will also say I go through the game thinking like, I can't wait for the next boss fight. Not only to test my character's strength, but also because they're just fucking fun. Like they just present a fun challenge. Here's where like the side stab at you. So you have to dodge roll out of the way, and they're constantly stabbing. And then there's one big stab where you have to roll through at the last second.
That's not very sporting.
And then it gets smaller, and the amount of space that you have to play in gets smaller and smaller. Like it's really well done. It's really, really cool. There's definitive roadblocks as well for a lot of people.
Roblox?
Yeah.
I got
Roblox. No, the Act 1 boss, the final boss in Act 1, I think a lot of people are saying is very, very difficult. I thought that boss was fucking awesome. I really enjoyed it. This boss is one of them. The final boss in Act 3, I had a pretty difficult time with. There's a couple that are like standout for a lot.
How long did it take for you to get to boss 1 on average? Would you say, like, for a player? Do you think how long did
to
it
get
take
to the first boss?
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Like
I didn't know if it was
you
like-
go like almost every map, you're fighting 2 or 3 bosses
Okay.
in the campaign. Like there's side bosses that you can just stumble upon.
Mhm.
They do a pretty good job of just like finding random things within the map that, like, oh, you walked into this den and you go to click a chest and, oh no, the chest is booby trapped and here comes a bunch of people to attack you, that type of stuff. So little like side events, which are really cool.
From a narrative story aspect, how is it?
Better than PoE 1. I can't shake the feeling that like I've played Diablo 2 now 100 different times in 100 different games, and this game is very much Diablo 2 coded, where it's like, oh, the first area is you're gonna fight a skeleton guy, and the second area is gonna be a desert. And the third area is going to be a forest. And then at the end of Act 3, they did something where it's like, oh, that's different. I want to see more of that. And then of course the game ends, right? Like
Yeah.
that's where it's like, oh, and now something happens and you end up back at the beginning. So
I was just curious because PoE's not known. Correct if I'm wrong, but PoE's not known for its story.
yeah, it's not, but they do a good job with it this time around.
Yeah, I was curious if that was an aspect that they decided to try to like improve a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know why, but well, I mean, I do know why. Diablo 2 is a monumental game in the genre, if not gaming, but like Diablo 2 was what Diablo 3 was. It was kind of what Diablo 4 was from a little bit from a story perspective. Path of Exile 2 kind of has the same story. And yeah, it's like, I wasn't wowed by it. Like I wasn't like, holy shit, this is so well done, but it's all voice acted. If you played PoE 1, you're going to recognize a bunch of the people. And it's fine. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Cool.
The whole game, definitely, there's a lot that feels like Diablo 2 in all the best ways possible.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a great thing to have your game feel like one of the, arguably the best games of all time. So it's good. Got to play more of it for sure. It's got my interest in the grand scheme of things. Want to see kind of how the end game functions and how all that stuff goes, and check out the builds and all that different type of stuff. So
You died again.
I did. This is where I started thinking like, okay, I need to change something up with my build, and then I changed it up, and it worked pretty well.
Work.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try it tonight.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
One other cool thing that chat just jogged my memory, when you open up the skills, this is where I couldn't log out. This is actually one of the first times I had like a bug. Let me see if I can even find a thing for it. Essentially how the skill stuff works. Okay, so those are the skill gems right there. But a skill gem will drop, and then it's unused skill gem. You right click it, and then a big thing comes up, and it's like, what do you want to turn the skill gem into? And it shows you the skill gems that you can turn it into. They have levels tied to it all, and they drop higher levels as you progress through the game. But when you click on the skill, a little video starts playing, and there's a voiceover, and it says like, this is what that skill does. It's going to look like
cool.
this. If you want to do this, that might be a valuable way to use that skill. Also, if you interact with this and in this other skill, it's going to do this.
So
that
have a
is
good
like 10 out of 10.
built-in, system for educating the player.
Yeah.
On how skill stuff work, how their system works, which is good.
Yeah. And
Rather than just
every
cold
skill has
text,
it. Every skill has it. And it's the other crazy thing I can say, any item, any skill, anything that has a tooltip on it, you can press Alt and it'll lock that tooltip, and you can then use your mouse to highlight over underlined words, and it'll give you a full description of what the fuck that means. And like that
Magic
stuff,
cards.
yeah, that stuff is monumentally good. It is so
Nice.
important, because a lot of times people are like, well, what is physical? What does that mean? You hit Alt, you hover over that. Oh, or sometimes you get abilities from your ascendancy, which is like a upgrade system, a power system, and you can hold down Alt, go over to it, and it's like, oh, you use this to change into demonic form. What the fuck's demonic form? Alt, you hover over it, and it tells you everything about it. It's so good.
I can't remember if they had it for PoE 1. Is there any sort of Twitch integration for streamers to like show like what your build is in terms of like what your current loot is? Maybe some in the future, but
Not yet.
That's good specifically just for us as streamers, with communities to be able to like see like what you're running and all that stuff.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, you can very simply just push like the skill button and it'll pop up. But yeah,
it's a very niche ask, but
yeah, I mean, they had like a PoE 1 extension for the first one for Twitch, and I'm sure they'll add something down the line for that. Either they will or a third party group will.
I'm sure you haven't really, maybe you have looked at it. Does the game have much in the way of accessibility? Is there like a tab with accessibility stuff to, for visual or audio or anything like that?
I don't think a lot of that is in yet. If it's in at all.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah, they will probably add that stuff in down the line, but I don't think any of it's in there yet. So
Gotcha.
yeah, cool. Yeah, there's no colorblind mode yet. PoE1 had it. so
PoE
they'll
one
probably
had
add
it,
that
so yeah,
stuff.
it'll probably come.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll add it in sooner rather than later for people that need it.
Yeah, I mean it's early access, so I would hope by 1.0 they put that in there. They put it in PoE1, so I don't see why they would just forget about it this time around. Yeah, that's PoE1. I'll probably talk about it more, I guess, next week. Yeah, we got a show next week, Zeke. I think we're all here. I'm
Well,
here.
as far as I know, but on the 12th we have the Game Awards.
Yeah, we got Game Awards this week.
The Game
which we
Awards.
can close out on. I don't know how we're all going to be watching that, but we'll watch it somehow. You'll hear our voices on Thursday. It starts at 7:30 Eastern. I think pre-show is 7. So they'll do the normal thing, and then we'll all get really pissed off when Elden Ring wins DLC for Game of the Year.
It's at 7 p.m. Eastern.
I believe that's when it starts. Yeah, let me double check.
Damn, dude.
What?
That's
What?
I mean, that's late. I guess.
That's earlier than what they usually do.
Late?
Was it? Okay. Oh, I'm thinking of 7 p.m. Pacific. Never mind.
Yeah, that's like 4:30 your time. That's not late at all.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's middle of the
My
day.
bad.
It says the Game
It's still late
Award.
for you people.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty late. It's 1:30 a.m. CET. That is pretty
Yeah.
late. Okay, it says it starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, but I would imagine there's going to be a 30-minute pre-show. I don't think they would
Yeah.
start at the half hour.
yeah, they usually have some sort of pre-show.
Yeah, they usually got the
Little buffer
pre-show.
where they dole out a bunch of quick awards.
Yes, they already said they're going to be giving out awards in that pre-show, which I think I saw Keeley said that Sydney Goodman
Sydney Goodman's usually the one,
host
yeah, kind of doing the
for
the
that.
host side thing.
Snoop Dogg's going to perform. That was a
Snoop
big-
Dogg, flute guy, Pedro's coming back.
Yeah,
Woo!
21
Let's go.
Pilots, David, and the Royal and Serpent with the Game Awards Orchestra will all be there. So a lot of arcane music. And then
No word yet on some sort of implementation of somebody saying "fuck the Oscars" yet. So
Yeah,
a little bit of a disappointment, but
looks
Hoping
like
that would be an
Warframe
announcement.
has a Twitch drop that'll be associated with that. So, yeah, it should be an exciting night. I'm sure a bunch of trailers and all that stuff will be talked about. We'll see. I don't know, like what the big what's the big thing this year? Is there any big thing? Like, what's the biggest thing that we see? Do we get a Switch 2 announcement? Do we get a Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer? Do we get any, like, what's the big, I don't know what
think
the big
Rockstar
thing
would
is.
do. I mean, never say never, but like I think Rockstar usually just does their own stuff, like their own.
Silk Song. You losers.
Silk Song
Rockstar
could
doesn't
be
really need to
there.
use something like the Game Awards for dropping a trailer. They usually just drop it, or they get it leaked, I guess.
Yeah. Could we maybe could see a Wolverine trailer? Oh yeah, there will probably be a Death Stranding trailer. Oh, and I think Randy Pitchford leaked that there's going to be a Borderlands video. So maybe
If Hideo
Borderlands 4
Kojima has-
gameplay.
Anything going on, there will be a trailer for it at the Game Awards.
Yeah. I don't.
I'm ready for like them to present 5 awards live, and then the 20 other awards. They'll just have a list like of these nominees. This one won, and then this one won, and then this one won, and now some more ads. Here you go.
I'm excited. I'm generally always excited for the awards just to see who wins and all that stuff. But I really want to see the internet burn if Elden Ring takes Game of the Year. Like I think that'll be like we haven't experienced true chaos yet. And that people will go fucking crazy if that.
You know, I'm excited for too.
It's all
Always
that
good for the Game Awards. The music is the performances that they have for it usually are pretty great.
I agree. You won't recognize the Arcane Season 2 music though, Max.
I won't, but I'll recognize its musicality.
Yeah,
Enjoy that.
maybe so. I just hope they get
The Renaissance man.
I want the French song there. Give me the French song. I don't want to listen to 21 Pilots. I want the French song, and I want the Heimer song. That's what I want at the Game Awards. I doubt we'll get.
You know what I
both.
want? I want the Muppets back, and I want in the middle of the bit in the shtick.
The
I want
Muppets
Kermit
are
the
back.
Frog. I want Kermit the Frog to be like, and I got one more thing. Fuck the Oscars.
No, they've got. Who did they say?
I definitely want that Esperanto song from Metaphor.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Statler and Waldorf will be there.
Yep.
The two old guys from the Muppets.
Yeah.
Nice. I like those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be a good stuff. That'll be a good time. They announced the new Tekken character is going to be revealed there. Hideo Kojima is a presenter, of course, so he'll be there. Flute Guy got his own announcement post.
Pedro.
Is that
Aaron
Pedro?
Paul.
Pedro's his name. I can't remember his
Pedro
last name.
Ustache?
Dude's great.
He's
Dude's
great.
awesome. Always passionate. Got to see him not too long ago at the Hans Zimmer concert. That was here in Texas.
Nice.
So
Yep.
cool.
It should be a good Thursday. We'll be covering it all on all our channels. Are you going to restream it, Max?
Yep.
Okay. You watching with the late shift?
Undetermined.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would imagine so. Everyone loves the Game Awards. It's fun night to restream. So we'll keep you guys updated on Twitter. Zeke, Co, and I will be watching whether it's 3 disembodied voices or 1 head and 2 voices. The goal would be to have everyone's face on the screen at the same time, but things change. So we'll see what happens with all that. Let's do some shout outs and call it a show. Zeke, you want to start us off?
Yo, I would love to. Thank you all very much for watching. My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, or Ezekiel III, all spelled out, on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. I do post on Blue Sky and Twitter both when I go live and, when I'm going to go live. Thank you to GassyMexican for joining us today. Always a pleasure to see you and have you on the show. Thank you to JP for being my co-host. I broadcast video games every day, except Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to check me out, I'm still in the middle of doing Indiana Jones. So that's what we'll be continuing on Tuesday because I take Mondays off. So we'll be continuing that on Tuesday. And we got a bunch of games lined up to give a look to. We did any Saturday, and there were some great games there. One of which I didn't really get into all that much, and I'm intrigued by is Zucosis. So I definitely want to check out Zucosis a little bit more closely. So that's what's coming up for me: Indiana Jones, Zucosis, and then the Game Awards. So thanks for watching.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Max, do some shout outs.
Hi, y'all. I'm GassyMexican. Good to be back and filling in here for Drop Frames. Always fun. Thanks for having me on, by the way. I always enjoy coming on here whenever I'm able to. But yeah, I play all sorts of video games and stuff as well. True variety streamer. I'm live every day, typically, except for Sundays. Except for this Sunday, because I'll be playing some PoE 2 and working out my own PoE-ness. Sorry, I had to get it in there one more time. Very excited to play that. So come on, check it out. I'll probably fire up stream around like 8 or 9 on the late end, probably 8 Central. But every day we're live 7 p.m. Central on Twitch, and then a little after that we go live on YouTube whenever we're ready to jump in this stuff. I guess I should be posting on Blue Sky as well. I keep hearing that it's popping off and more active the more and more X becomes a depressing place to be, or Twitter. So
That's true.
But if you're interested in me and want to keep up what I do, feel free to follow me on the things. Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Yep. Also, one does not have to really expand on this PoE-ness. The way that I use the term is that the PoE-ness is the act of playing PoE. It's not something that someone has or can hold. It is the being of PoE. It's the PoE-ness. Okay. So you don't got your own.
Oh, how would you ask someone then, JP, how it's going in Path of Exile?
You enjoying PoE?
Okay.
See though, but like that's
you wouldn't
your
say how's your
interpretation.
PoE-ness.
No.
That's your interpretation of PoE-ness. And as we all know,
as the creator of PoE-ness, I can interpret how it needs to be used.
I think you'll find that lots of the PoE-nesses are very different in their own ways. Very,
They all have their own.
JP, use POEness in a sentence for me so I know how to conjugate it properly.
I'm trying to think of how I've used Max. How did you first hear me use the word? I think I said like, oh, I can't wait to play some POEness later. Or like, oh God, this POEness is so good. That like
That doesn't.
Okay,
give you
that's
too much
a good
time,
sentence.
really.
Oh God,
Yes.
this POEness is so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how I used it.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
I think it's like a state. It's not a noun. It's like a state of being.
It can be confusing when you think back to
So-
the first time you uttered it, when the POEness came out of your mouth for the first time.
Yeah. I've been saying it for like several years at this point. It just caught on with Max watching the stream.
So
or I
contrary-
said it.
Contrary to what it sounds like, you can be deep inside the POEness
Yeah.
and not vice versa.
Yeah.
Can you have the POEness inside you?
I like to think you
Always.
can.
Always.
Yeah.
I've got it inside
Okay,
me
so-
right now.
So it goes both ways. Okay, good. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm glad we settled that here at the end of the show. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already on the YouTubes. And if you want to listen to the podcast version of the show, you can find it where, as Conan says, fine podcasts are available. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week or Thursday at the Game Awards. We're out of here. Have a good one. Bye.